I have a good. It's an ad I should have had a while ago, but you're gonna love it. I think Carlos, you'll really get a kick out of this too, and I think Jason too. So
cool.
That's gonna be the last ad I run.
You know, he actually, I don't know if you stop me in this if you don't want me to say his name, but the gentleman who we were just speaking about before actually wrote one of the finest source books ever written for RPGs.
Which one?
It wasn't for D&D.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
He wrote the Watchman Swords book.
Oh,
I got that.
Ah.
Cool.
And it is fantastic. It's
Well, that's
really,
cool.
really well done. It's not quite as well done as their source book for Legion superheroes, but it's really, really good. The Legion one is just, it's the greatest source book ever written, because the guys that were writing the comic books at that time wrote it, and there's snippets of like poetry from Brainiac and stuff in there.
Oh, that's cool.
All kinds of crazy, cool stuff. He writes in haiku, by the way. Italian haiku.
When is this coming? This unnamed person, when is that coming up? Is it the near future?
January at the earliest. So
I can send you a couple copies of brand new Watchman source books if you wanted to give them out that night.
Yeah, if it happens, Jason, that's fine. I mean, you're so close to me that I could even come pick them up. You know what I mean? You need to use shipping.
Yeah, but it's media now. It'll be nothing.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
That source book is amazing too. So definitely.
That'll be awesome. Let's hope. Good evening, everyone, as we're babbling here, which is good. I like babbling. Yeah, so I got a new ad for Troller Games coming up after these two. So hopefully everyone's doing well as we kick off this week. It's a short week, but thank you, Carlos. Thank you very much for that. It's a very short week, but it's a long week for me, being at PAX Unplugged all these days. So it's going to be that'll be fun.
It will be fun.
And I'm running Horde and Hools both Friday morning, part 1, my part, and Carlos's part 2 on Saturday.
Much inferior part 2.
I'll say that. Oh no. Both parts.
It's great to see still how much legs that adventure still has.
Yes, absolutely, which is great. So, what's up, Nicole? Let me click on live here on the Campfire Discord. So we're still really early, which is good. That's always a good thing. What is that?
Michael, how you doing? Mr. Bridges, feeling good?
Yeah, okay.
Good. I was gonna tell you just now that you can make it open season if you want to on the Hawks, but then again, the Blues aren't really doing all that great either. So
The Flyers are awful.
oh god, all 3 of our teams are in the toilet.
Awful.
Wasn't it?
What's up, Doloa? I got some brand new emotes right now. Okay, I'm gonna show them as we're starting to prep up here, and so both of these two are BattleTech ones because I got so many slots I can't fill now. So we got the Dark Horse Dragoons and the Hearthguards, both units there. So they're brand new, regular level 1 emotes. But the funny one is really a comical one that I got approval from one of my players, and it is Tom. Let's get ready to fumble. So with Tom, the Tom head, because Tom fumbles more than everyone combined. You're too early, Casey, for that drawing button there, of course. So yes, there's the Tom head. Let's get ready to fumble. That's new too. Along with, if you're a subscriber, now you get 5 animated emotes. So yes, we're all getting some really good stuff here. Dun, 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 dun. Got a lot going on with this company too. Gamescape 3D, some really cool stuff. Yeah, you still have faith in him, Tino? Well, yeah, but it's kind of he was laughing his butt off too, so I don't feel bad doing it. So. I have my first caveat ever on giveaways tonight. I'll explain, I guess, twice. What's up, Katano? See, I think too. Another thing that switched. If you were, when you're an affiliate, you get your first 10 subscribers get the first symbol. And Gitano, I believe, was between number 11 and 25, and that's why when you're a partner, it goes to the first 25 of a founder. So you get a founder badge now, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so it's swapped out to the first 25 subscribers. So it's pretty neat. Hey, what's up? And yeah, we got a good group. We got a great group tonight in this discussion. All right, you ready for a brand new ad? Which I didn't know existed until I found it on their YouTube, and I was like, Chuck, why don't I have this? Here we go. This is really cool. Brand new ad coming.
It looks sci-fi.
It is Jim Ward's Starship Warden.
Oh.
It is, yeah. Which just recently came out, yeah. So, you like your Metamorphosis Alpha, you like your Gamma World, you like your Expedition, your D&D sci-fi mix. This is what you, yeah. So. Thank you, Little Bones. Thank you. Good to see you. Can't wait. A week from Friday. We're gaming together. They did a real good job with this ad. So.
It's a really high quality piece.
Yeah, definitely.
In fact, they've done a really nice job with all the Starship Warden, Metamorphosis Alpha stuff that they've been releasing since probably, I don't know, the last 5-7 years, I think.
Yeah, it's all fantastic. It really is. And I was really happy to get a hold of this, and because we gave away some of these in digital. We haven't given away any hard copies of these.
I can see why the Starship Warden book's large enough to kill a small child.
Yes.
It fell on him.
It is.
It's a big book.
I think it's 650 pages.
Yeah, and it's not just 650. It's also the format of it's massive too. I mean, it's like a 18 by 11. It feels like.
Oh, Bones! I still have the digital copy for Darling, who won this that one night. I got to get that to her. Forgot to do that. There we go. The Starship Warden. So hey, it's like I got a new ad finally from someone, from one of the sponsors. Oh my gosh, there is a Santa Claus. Oh, 42. I changed the logo early. Yeah, I mean I got all my stuff, all my cards, my banners.
Well, you might be on the 42nd year, so you're probably on the 42nd year.
Starting things off tonight. Okay, everything looks good. Check. Yes, Future J. I had to, because I ran out of cards, so I'm like, I'm not gonna order them with the old logo, with the old number on them. And then I was like, I need a banner for PAX. I'm not going to order it with the 41 on it when it's only a month. So I was like, I'll just switch everything. So that's what happened. We're early, but that's okay. Megadungeons. everyone. If you see this head, you're in trouble. I'll put that to Little Bones there. Tom, let's get ready to fumble. There's the Tom. You don't want to see that head. So that's just crazy. So this is going to be an intriguing discussion tonight because I know I have some that are not even TSR, and I know Jason does, and I know Carlos does, and but it's going to be a good discussion tonight on this topic. We'll kick this week off. I'm really excited about this tonight. So, let's see what else we've done here. While we're waiting here, let me do this right now, just so Casey can lurk. Got that in there. 1 second here. Awesome, it worked. So yeah, so you can hit your what do you call it, man? So you can hit you're always first to hit the drawing. I'm surprised you haven't done yet. That's all, man. I'm just saying, you came on, hit the drawing, now you can. That's all. That's it, yay! That's awesome. But there's a caveat tonight, and I got approval from everyone. So, all right, here we go. We're coming live. Look at that. We're only 2 minutes early, too. Perfect timing. Yes. Good evening, everyone. Look at this crew tonight for this wonderful discussion. I'm Jake Hitler Gazumba. Thank you all for coming on. And tonight, as always, we have Anna Meyer and Greyhawk Mike
Hello.
Bridges
Okay.
for this discussion. But joining us is two legends of the community and Greyhawk. We got Jason Savoda and Carlos Lysing tonight. So thank you all for coming on as people are still getting on here, as we're starting to move forward. How do we start this off? We start this off by saying the following to everyone. Welcome, and how do we come up with this topic idea? Mike?
I don't know.
How? We came up with this somehow. Oh,
I think
thank you,
someone
Mike. So whenever we are stuck, what do? I go to the Greyhawkery blog, and I pick a random year. And I look, and I'm like, man, this is a great post idea. And in fact, the one for next week's the same way. So, so this comes right off of Mike's blog post, which is really a cool thing. So let's go around and give everyone's, say hello to everyone. We'll start with Carlos. Let's start off with you, man, and just give us a
Hey,
synopsis
Carlos.
of what you think the discussion is going to be about. And a lot of people, we got a lot of new people. They don't know. Please tell them a little about yourself too. Really
I'm Carlos. I'm Carlos Lysing. I'm the owner and lead game designer for Castle Entertainment. We write first edition / Osric Dungeons and Dragons modules. They're all written for the to be compliant with the world of Greyhawk. It's pretty transparent if you're paying attention what is where in Greyhawk. You have to sanitize to respect IP. Obviously, you can visit us at www.castleentertainment.com. Thank you so much for putting that up. I appreciate it. Antiquitous just mentioned we've got a new module out right now, but we'll talk about that maybe later at the end of when we're doing our shout outs and stuff. But tonight's conversation, we'll be talking about Megadungeons, and I'm excited to discuss it. I've written one for Greyhawk myself, and so we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. And thanks for coming on,
Thanks
Carlos.
so
Carlos
much,
has been swamped with getting stuff out. I imagine that's going to happen again, too, when Gary Con starts getting around.
Yeah, Patreons just found out what I'm going to be running at Gary Con. They got the sneak peek, so they can get the drop on everybody.
Here comes in Blue Box raiding in. Jason, so why don't you say hello to everyone and what's going on and what do you think about this discussion too? Good evening, Blue Box. Let me shout you all out here. I'm shouting out.
Sure.
There we go. Go ahead, Jason.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm taking that too literally. So I'm Jason Zavoda. I do a lot of work on just various Greyhawk subjects. I also read the Gord novels. We're right in the middle of them. We just finished Knight Errant, and we're going to go on to um, the Gord short story from Dragon 100 and then into City of Hawks. So if you want to come, you can go to Cannon Fire and listen and or download and have the first 4 of the Gord novels read and commentated. So that's one of my big projects, but I do a lot of different kinds of work on there, and you can all find it on Cannon Fire. But I wanted to say something. Look at Carlos. Look behind him. He's
Yes.
got the rack. He's got the module rack. Those are his modules.
Yep.
I mean, there's nothing cooler than that.
Oh,
I mean,
thanks.
that is just that. Yeah. I mean, you just gotta say you got the rack.
Yeah,
That
that's
can't
all
be
Amanda.
all of them.
That's all my better half's doing. She's definitely the engine that drives Castle. I'm just the dude that writes the words.
It's an awesome thing, though, Carlos. I got my stack. I probably got 8 to 9 now of them,
Oh,
and I got
thanks.
2 more on the way. So we'll talk about that definitely.
We're at 26 right now.
That's beautiful.
I think we're at 26.
Very, very cool. So Anna and Mike, your thoughts initially on Greyhawk, Megadungeons, and then I'll make this quickie announcement, which everyone I think is going to love. Well, or not.
Yeah, to me, it's one of the things is surprising because there was a time in D&D's early history when Megadungeon was almost a play style. It was almost like a way of playing the game. And the weird thing is that was the same time as Greyhawk was also kind of swinging in popularity and all that, but it doesn't seem to affect the setting that much. Greyhawk is not full of Megadungeons, but
True.
the early stages, it's kind of renowned for one particular very almost mythical Megadungeon now that we have to dive into later that I'm not the expert of, but we have some people here who knows more about it. So yeah. I'm going to end there. Yeah.
And Mike, Mike, this was your idea. I'll call for your blog from 2016, I believe.
Let's hope the idea is just as fresh as it was back then. So, what qualifies a mega dungeon? Would you guys say 3 or more levels?
I'd say 3 or
Do
more is
levels
a good spot. It's a good spot for it.
Is that
Scala's kicking that off. Good.
So, that's the main thing that kind of it popped in my head was what qualifies a mega dungeon.
It's a good question.
I think that there's a couple things for me. I think that when a dungeon has its own rules also for an environment, when you're not really so concerned about dungeon ecology, I think that plays into it a little bit as well. When there's a little bit of sprawl to the dungeon as well as depth, different levels to it, I think that kind of is important for me. Another characteristic. I think those 3 things, like as you mentioned, depth.
So it could be sprawl instead of just depth.
I think so too. Yeah,
Okay.
I think one thing I've in dungeon design that I'm learning as I go, and that I find that has been a good criticism of my work in the past that I've been trying to incorporate is a lot less reliance on certain dimensionality, like whether it be width or thinking vertically as well as horizontally and things like that. So I think that if you have, maybe it can only be 3 levels, but if it's super sprawled out, like for example, what Dyson Logos has been doing lately on his site would definitely, to me, almost be a mega dungeon, even though it's maybe only 1 or 2 levels.
Yeah, it has to be so big it has its own gravitational field.
Exactly.
But,
exactly.
You know, it's simply that it's something that is like all combined. Now, when I first started playing, I only had B1, and so we made that thing 13 levels deep, because that's what Anna was saying. We thought that, you know, like the dungeon was the dungeon. We got the homes basic, and we started going and going and going. But that does not a mega dungeon make. because there's other things. There's a mystique to it that makes it the mega dungeon, because you'll see that Jay has Temple of Elemental Evil up, and in a sense, it's not really a mega dungeon, but it's got so much history to it that it should be a mega dungeon. And if you haven't dug down some more levels or opened onto exploratory planes, then you just haven't played it hard enough yet. So something like Temple of Elemental Evil, something I'd say, yeah, it's a mega dungeon, and it's going to be something bigger than you think it is.
Jason, I hate to cut you off here. We got limited time for this challenge. Okay, just one second. I'm sorry. It's okay. You didn't know. All right. So look, here's what we're giving away tonight. Carlos is going to give away either C14 or C16. Which the titles are. Go ahead, Carlos, because I in my notes.
It's okay. C14 is the Sanguine Labyrinth. It's the first first 3 levels of the mega dungeon that I wrote for Castle Entertainment. Yeah. And C16 is To the City of the Elder Gods, which is kind of an addendum to Mauer Castle, which was inspired by Mike Bridges, actually, his work and his love for that module. And I think I've just submarined exactly what books I'm going to be talking about.
Get your choice. In addition, we're going to give away one of these. This is the original Dungeon 112 Mar Castle, okay? If we finish a level 3 hype train, I will give a second copy away of that. Whoops, that was the wrong one. That was a regular one. If we finish a level 5 hype train, I will give away a Mar Castle signed by the artist Wayne Reynolds.
What?
Wayne Reynolds signed this copy, okay? The first drawer will get that. If we finish a level 5 hype train, I'm putting the onus on the group tonight. But if you complete the level 3, we'll do a second one. So I'll have 3 giveaways because with Carlos and those 2, and then if we finish level 5, I will give away a signed copy by Wayne Reynolds. All right, that's yes. So there it goes.
Here we go.
All right, so let's keep that. Sorry, Jason, I had to put that out there as time is ticking on this thing. Yeah, so all right, so we're at the second copy of Mar Castle already. There you go. The wonders of being a partner. Push. And we're having some fun here. So thank you, everyone. So here's a question already came up in chat, and I think Carlos, one of your favorite adventures of all time, and one of mine, Shokanth. I beg to differ with that. I think it's a mega dungeon, even though
it's a mega dungeon with a caveat.
Yes, caveat. Yes.
For me, it's only a mega dungeon if you're including the demi-planes and things that you can access through the Hall of Pentacles. Much like I would suggest that how you can expand, for example, Q1 through going through all the different demi-planes there.
Yeah.
It's very expansive from that perspective.
Yeah, that's another one.
But if you just include Shokanth from 2, it's 2 normal levels. I have a hard time with calling that a full-on mega dungeon. I don't think it's probably enough or deep enough. So but again, you remember, you're the guy. You're talking to the guy who writes 100-page dungeons now as the default. So
yeah. So my caveat is the following: because of the special nature of that dungeon, where you go to the door, teleport, you got to go to all of them. I think it's a mega dungeon.
Okay.
That's why you have to explore the entire.
Yeah, it's not a hill I'd die on. I'm not so against calling it that I would take umbrage with that.
Yeah. So
I'll take umbrage if Carlos won't. I'll take umbrage.
Okay. You get it, Jason.
That's what's going to be so great about this discussion tonight. This is going to be an awesome discussion because we have Rappanathic up there. I got them all here. I know that's like Dale Assure is one of his favorites of all time. You know, I got a lot of different ones here. So look at that. We're almost to 4. They're pushing. So
wow.
Yeah. I love me a mega dungeon, but I'm going to say this. I hate streaming mega dungeons because first off, it's
Yeah.
impossible to put them on the table. I only have so much Master Maze, Dwarven Forge, right? So I got to do it in parts. I mean, when I did Hidden Temple of Rithal, that was difficult for me to do on the table. It was very difficult. I couldn't do the whole, I couldn't get the whole thing in its entirety there. We're so close to that. So 220, and we'll get up to level 5, and then we'll see pushing there.
I did my
Almost
part,
there.
boys.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Everyone's doing their little part there, which is cool. So, oh, there we go. All right, so we're going to be on level 5. We got to finish that level 5, and we got the Wayne Reynolds. All right. So why don't we round table this? Is that a good thing to do? And pick some that are in Greyhawk first. Talk about them. Maybe I'll go back to Showcanth, and then you can fight with me about that. Yeah, streaming Megadungeons is difficult, man. It's really, really difficult. And what I found out is I'm condensing down the dungeons. Because not a lot of side rooms and stuff, just because of the way streaming goes. But that's a whole nother story in itself.
You need a table elevator, so you can just
Yeah, and you need about $5,000 in Dwarven Forge at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Jason will take umbrage with you on Showcanth, I'll take umbrage with you on the difficulty of streaming Megadungeons.
Well, in my
it's your
style,
format. It's your format.
It's my
not the
format.
Megadungeons.
If ETT or another way that you do,
Exactly.
absolutely. My style is it's extremely difficult there. Thank you, Meerkat, for that follow. Really appreciate it. Okay, so this is Mike's topic. So Mike, start us off.
Where is? I feel like we've already been around the horn.
Level 5. It's gonna be no.
Good Lord. Let's get one out of the way. Is White Plume Mountain a Megadungeon? I think it's too. I'll just throw it out real quick. I think the original is too skimpy, having ran it several times. But I'm not quite certain that Return to White Plume Mountain doesn't expand it then enough.
I don't think it does.
No,
I don't think it does.
Okay.
I'm pretty familiar with that material from Return as well as the original, and I mean, when you're writing modules, you're studying them as well. So you start to really pay attention to the details in it. And I just don't think that there's enough meat on the bones to call it a Megadungeon. For me, that's something that you could you could easily complete, even Return in about 3 sessions, and I just don't. I can't buy into that.
We got it. You got it. Wayne Reynolds is going out tonight. 4 giveaways.
Boom.
Not to say that it's not a good module. I'm not in love with Return. I'm not in love with Return, but obviously White Plume itself is one of the greatest of ever. But
I love Return to White Plume Mountain. I think it's fantastic, and it's right on the border there. The story itself is long. It's in depth. Oh man, Ron, don't put up Lost City, because I know that I know Rich will go crazy because he was running that. And he's like, I can't do this anymore. I think that is definitely long. Absolutely, that may be one.
Well,
is that Zeb Cook? Zeb Cook did I-1, right? Lost City, I believe.
yes.
Well, that's it's a Mystara module. It's it's a good module, but don't forget we have our own kind of Greyhawk version with L1, not L1. What am I saying? I1. Yeah, because you get an entire city.
Mhm.
I mean, that buried city in ruins underneath the ground, an incredible amount of work to do on it. It's just, you look at the city, but it's not the details that you really want if you do a sandbox.
Right.
So if you just open it to any direction, but that one, it's a thin one, but it's a Megadungeon. You look at that map and you realize there is a huge amount of possibilities here, just gigantic.
Yeah.
But
go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Keep
I just want to say that one, that is a Greyhawk. That does have a tiny bit of lore. It does flesh out part of the canon. It is an honest to God Megadungeon set in Greyhawk.
Yeah, telling me, Gary. Telling me. Yeah. I was thinking of Dwellers, not Lost City. Lost City is a B, right? Yeah, my bad. See, my brain's.
I'm interested to know Anna's opinion about something. I don't mean to put you on the spot because maybe you're not familiar enough with it to answer this, but I wonder, are you familiar with that map at all?
Not that much.
Okay.
I've
I was
seen
going
it.
to ask
I
you
have
from a
it somewhere
cartographer's
stashed
perspective.
around here, but and to me, and this is something interesting. To me, a mega dungeon is more something that has to do with game mechanics than something that is setting related. I think a mega dungeon needs to be somewhat its own kind of universe, and
Right.
Jason said it so well. It needs its own gravity. It needs to be powerful enough to generate its own gravity, meaning it should be something that is full of cool things to challenge the players on the game mechanics level, probably more than on the setting related or story related or something. It should be full of cool traps, themed stuff, all sorts of monsters, and it should be chunked in. We talk about levels and stuff. Meaning, mega dungeons have its own terminology that is associated with the D&D adventure. It's a different type of adventure, and I kind of both like it and not like it. I love it because it is a mainstay and a game theme and a way to play the game. Meaning you can run D&D campaigns that are basically one mega dungeon to the next and have a lot of fun, go through all the levels, meet all the monsters and stuff like that. And you don't need this. They can be your game world, so to speak, if you be. And that I think a mega dungeon have to have aspirations that way. It doesn't have to make sense from where do these creators get their food from, or where do they have their sewage or plumbing, or why the hell is they down in the 10th level when they're so big that they can't even get out. These are kind of skip that. The mega dungeon is cool. It's game mechanics centered. It's supposed to be fun, challenging, and weird in some wonderful D&D ways, so to speak. That's a little bit of my take on what is a mega dungeon. Meaning, I created now for my campaign a large cave system. I don't think it's a mega dungeon because it's not epic enough, anywhere near epic enough to be a mega dungeon, even if it's large in square feet, so to speak, or cubic feet.
Right. Gary brings up the word that everyone used back in the old days, and that's forays. A mega dungeon requires forays for the most part, multiple forays in and out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
they should have a resting stop nearby, like a big city or something, but you can load off your treasure and get more healing potions or whatever you need, and then go back in.
Yeah. By the way, I'm wearing my PAX Unplugged logo because that's all that's on my mind right now, prepping for this. I am DMing Horror in the Hools, Part 1 and Part 2, Friday morning and Saturday morning, by Carlos Lysing and myself, those two. So just note that that's going on. I have a couple open seats if you're going to be at PAX Unplugged, and Tickwitness is going to be assisting me. We're going to have a great time. So it'll be fun. All right, here's mine. Of course you know what mine is. It is Return to Temple of Elemental Evil. Sorry, just kidding. No, it's not.
I was going to say, come on.
It is Temple. It's Temple of Elemental Evil.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's technically the same dungeon. It's just afterwards. So yeah.
But, you know, it has exactly what Anna's talking about, because you begin it with Hamlet, and you have your intro adventure, which is directly connected to the temple. So you have your outside setting, your base of operations. You can come back for a small amount of healing and such, and some aid, like you can get aid from Otis, and you can get aid from Elmo, and you can you can do all these things. So right away, temple has your setting, it has your place to return. You're going to probably go in forays, and at least with the 5th edition, they have tried to improve the problems they had with the original elemental nodes, and so they've done a little expansion.
Well, that's good.
And then they've done progress on introducing the nodes instead of these small pockets into actually like samples of the planes. So it's that is like your first step, and I would say at this point, since it's so well known, that the way that they did the return to the Tomb of Horrors, that the return to the Temple of Elemental Evil should simply be when evil comes back again, and you find out there's even greater things that are occurring from the original. So to me, if it's not, and I would agree that it is not quite a mega dungeon yet, but the potential is just calling out, I think, from Temple of Elemental Evil to be, a true mega dungeon like we talk about with Castle Greyhawk, or we talk about with Necromancers or Frog Gods, Rapanathik, which is, designed as...
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of them to go through. So,
yeah.
Here, Siglind Ilserve, always love that name. I probably said it wrong. Brought this up, and I have it here. I have two of them because this is a tough one. The D series, is it a mega dungeon? Out of the three, I would say D1 is the one that's a mega dungeon. That dungeon's so huge you can't just run right through there. Out of the three, that's a good question. Let me get everyone's input. D3 is a campaign setting. It's not a mega dungeon, and D2 is just you go on and slaughter Koatoan. So, what's everyone's thoughts on that? On D1, 2, and 3 as a mega dungeon?
Well, if you consider something like Queen of Spiders, the super module, it's definitely a campaign setting. When you're taking the whole GDQ thing as a whole, I mean, especially again, I mentioned it before, when you're talking about the demi-planes and things like that you can access, you could literally play that one series for an entire gamer's lifetime, quite honestly, and have it be a fulfilling experience. I'm going to say no, that none of those are mega dungeons, and I'm going to say it because if you take them as a whole, or you take parts of them and put them together, like all the Giant series, if you want to say they're all one module, then yeah, okay, I'll go with Mega Dungeon for that, but they're not. They're all installments, so I'm saying no.
Okay. It's right on the border. It's not. Yeah. It's definitely not.
I can see the argument for it, and I'm not going to argue it, but that was, for me, I just don't, I can't put it in that category.
So, Meerkat, a mega dungeon is I'm going to show you a picture, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about, okay? Are you ready? That's a mega dungeon. Okay.
That map, the side map's the great one.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about massive dungeons. You got to go back and forth in multiple sessions. That's a mega dungeon. So it's an old school term. I don't know how much mega dungeons are in the new school world, in the 5e world, but they're, unless they're re-releases, but yeah. Well, it's one party. Usually it's one party, but I have multiple parties going in certain adventures, and we could discuss that too. So, okay, Anna, your thoughts on any of the D series?
Well, I think it's kind of cool. They are semi-independent in some ways because they are detached to Greyhawk in some ways, but they're also I would say semi-independent because you can easily just say that they are part of Greyhawk. But so there is one of these things that you can kind of integrate into the setting if you want to, and that goes with a large part of the Underdark in general. But the Underdark in general is more like an environment and not so much as Mega Dungeon, because I think Mega Dungeon needs that mechanical aspect, and it needs certain criterias in order to be a mega dungeon. You can just the general outdoors will not include, and not even the general Underdark. It needs to be it's like a resort. You know it when you see it. It needs certain bells and whistles and stuff to qualify to be a real cool mega dungeon.
Let's stay on the Underdark because Carlos said this is a mega dungeon in our discussion before we started. Here we go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was one of the ones I wanted to ask a question about. You guys, do you see that as a mega dungeon, or is it just like an
and again,
Underdark?
it's close to the line, but I think it's just on the side of yes.
Okay,
and I think I want to say that a lot of it has to do with the way that the module is produced. I mean, the fact that it is one singular unit in a box set.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's very surface of me to say that, but I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Anyone, Jason? I know you love that adventure too, right? You love Night Below.
Well, I do. I would say I always found Night Below worked with the 3 monster modules. Like the first book of Night Below works wonderfully with A1 to 4. And then the second book works well with, with T1 to 4. The second book works with A1 to 4. And the last book in Night Below works with GDQ 1 to 7.
Oh, I did not know
Um,
that. Wow. Okay.
Well, for me, I always saw them as like a melding because there's never really enough experience unless you're really handing it out in any of those super modules. But if you add it to Night Below, and in fact, I got a thread up on Cannon Fire right now where I'm started doing that. I did want to say something. Alone though, I find that kind of very similar to those modules, that whole series, the way it's, the above ground, and then starting to delve in, and then, the underground with the, the fight that goes down there. Now, I wanted to mention something about the GDQ 1 to 7 series.
Yep.
I would agree that the Loft business, the Q1, that with the web, that's Megadungeon. I mean, that is just vast beyond. It's as big as you want it to be.
Right.
And like you said, D3 seems like a setting. It's
Right.
D1 and D2 are kind of like, getting there. The Kotoa are really a distraction on your way to get to the thing. So, but now all that happened like in my campaign some years back. And so what I thought of is you really look at it as a G3 entrance link to the Underdark. And in I've done a return to where G3 has been wiped out of Fire Giants and is now a rift is there into the elemental plane of fire. And it's now the Hall of the Salamander King. And it's flowing into the Underdark. So the characters first come up against the Salamander King, and then they follow the leak, the crack that is between the elements that is going into the Underdark. So they reach things that you would find in D1 and D2, and then it ends up. But I'm trying to look at it as a mega dungeon, because it is not a travelogue. You are following one physical lead of this broken rift in the elements straight down. So I'm trying to use what was there in the G3 and some of the D modules to put together something, and stealing from Sargent as well with the Night Below, to come up with something that's a little bit like it. But it's based on it, and after like 10 or so years have passed, this is like the return to for me. So I can see in that vast sprawling Underdark, and the entrance, and if you use that wonderful entrance of the ruined giant hall in G3, then you can have your opening into this palatial fire giant Underdark mega dungeon.
Yeah.
So you can use the material that's there very easily. And then once you're off, if that whole business with the cube module and the demon web pits is just, it's just so open that in itself. But again, like I1, there's tremendous amount of work to be done, huge amount of work to be done in either of those.
Mike, your thoughts on the Underdark?
Well, no, I think that's campaign setting, personally.
Okay.
And can't really speak on Night Below. I've never seen it.
Really?
Sad to say, I have still never seen Night Below.
Wow. I just got it a few months ago. I was lucky and got that for under roughly around that $100 range, because now the prices are insane on box sets now. Absolutely insane. Always find the why behind the Mega Dungeon. Biggest spend. Yeah, but yeah, you got it. It's a fantasy setting there, Alex. You gotta take it as that. I know. Some of us, Anna wants to be an ecologist on everything, which is okay. I don't care. I don't care why they're there. I mean, I'm going to give you an example. See that adventure that's up right now, Tegel Manor by Judges Guild. This thing is huge. It's all one level, right? And it's a mega dungeon. Absolutely. Nothing in that adventure makes sense. It doesn't.
Good. That's I think I totally agree with you. That is one of the traits of a mega dungeon. It doesn't need to. It needs to be fun, challenging,
Exactly.
slightly weird, and
Funhouse dungeon.
thoroughly entertaining. I think that's the hallmark of the throw it out, meaning it should be challenging, cool, and incorporate all aspects of D&D play, meaning monsters, traps, all legends,
Love
artifacts, and stuff like that. It needs all the game components in order to be a true mega dungeon. I think it's like going to the resort, meaning you got all the types of challenges, and or theme park or something like that. The D&D equivalent of it.
It's Frog
I think
God,
that's
Uncle
a
Fuzz.
mega dungeon.
It's Frog
Yeah.
God. Just want to clarify that.
Yeah, but when it comes to the
that.
Underdark, you can perfectly well have
By the
mega
way.
dungeons in the Underdark, but then it will be a destination in the Underdark, just like you can have mega dungeons in mountains or under cities or a bunch of. I have a couple of examples of possible ones, but we take that later. So yeah.
Sieglin says once again, that's why Shokanth made sense, because it doesn't make sense as a mega dungeon.
Yeah.
So I know, like, Carlos, is that and Tharazin are your 1A and 1B, right? As your favorites of all time?
Absolutely.
Right. And mine is Temple's 1, and then those two are next. So we're real close on that.
The geographic removal of WG4, though, however, to me, makes it so you can't really include that as part of the package of Shokanth when you're trying to say, is it a mega dungeon?
I was just talking about favorites, them together.
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure, it's my favorite.
Yeah, I think it is just because of it. A lot of it doesn't make sense, but they're guardians. they're guardians to the door, all the doors. That's just the way I look at it, and it doesn't make sense. And I love those kind of adventures. Maybe I'm old school, so but there's some bizarre stuff out there. All right, here's another one that Gary's head's gonna explode. I didn't even put it in the scroller. Expedition to Barrier Peaks.
There you go.
That's a mega dungeon.
Yep.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Slightly untraditional, but mega dungeon.
Yeah.
The
Mega
Goodman
dungeon.
5e adds another level.
Gary says no.
questionable whether you want to include it in your campaign for sure. But to me it has all the earmarks of mega dungeon. I've got no problem with calling it that.
Yeah. It's got what, 6 floors or seven levels? It's
7
great.
now.
Yeah.
7 now, and an exterior they've done with the Goodman edition.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things with levels, I think that the idea came because each part of the mega dungeon was just big enough to fit on one page map in whatever module the format, so on an 8.5 by 11, and so they have that kind of idea. And then comes the other ones when you have fold out maps and stuff, and the levels got bigger simply because the print format was bigger. So
this is a great discussion already. I love it. I mean, the great thing is we're all friends here, and we can agree to disagree on stuff, that's really junk.
And I'm very provocative. I know on this topic, I'm very provocative. Yeah.
Well,
but I think mega dungeons are endearing, and they have a place in the history of D&D and in the game, and I love some of them too. So yeah.
They are great points there. So have you seen? Eat to Surf. Did you see my ad? All right. What? 3 seconds. I will set back for all you people who didn't watch the beginning. I got a new ad. I'm not going to play it more than 5 seconds. Just take a quick look at the new Troller Games ad. First 5 seconds. There we go. All right. Yes, and this is it's like 2 minutes plus. So yes, there's the Starship Warden. Oh, cool. You're not good. Got it. So just note that we're playing that ad finally, and it's 650 pages. Yep. Oh yeah,
that is a mega dungeon.
As an aside,
when they come in the book
about the place
Thanks,
of mega
Tilly.
dungeon.
Good to see you, Hops and Dragons. Good to see you, man.
Something you mentioned about the place of the mega dungeon in the history of the game. I'm going to put my publisher beanie on just for a second. I know this. For the longest time when I was creating stuff for Castle Entertainment, I was constantly getting requests for mega dungeons for my to be published for my stuff. There is a huge appetite out there in the Greyhawk community and in the D&D community at large for that kind of a thing. So I'm not saying that it's the most popular kind of dungeon, but there is definitely a large cross section of people that do love them.
People love.
That's just definitely just to underscore your point.
People love the old school dungeon crawl, and I'm going to tell you why. A lot of us are older now. Me, almost retirement age here. A lot of people don't want to worry about having to write an adventure every week. The old school dungeon crawl, mega dungeon, can last you a year or more, maybe, of playing with your friends every week, right? And that's
exploration the thing. Is easier to, I think, run than story-based adventures.
Yeah, and I think there's one other aspect of Megadungeons that's really cool is that they're kind of a standardized. They come in a format in a book or something, and you can compare your experience with other people that play the same Megadungeon, and they become. It's like you've been to this theme park. Have you been on that roller coaster? Or it's one of these experiences you can kind of compare your experience with other player groups and stuff too. So it's yeah.
Siglin asks a very thought-provoking question, and probably are Megadungeons the old school version of Pathfinder Adventure Paths? Possibly. It's just an evolution.
That's
a series of modules.
I think. Yeah,
Adventure
I was stretching
it. Of modules.
Yeah, I think the Megadungeons need to have the concept of dungeon in them.
Right.
To some fair bits.
My thoughts were that I think you can draw an analogy between the two that since they don't really create nowadays, the mega dungeon concept is kind of fallen out of favor, it seems like, in the newer published materials. I think that there's an analogy that can be drawn between the two of them, but they're definitely different.
Some of them are Megadungeons. Some of them are even advertised as Megadungeon. I forgot the name, but there are a couple of Paizo Adventure Paths that are true Megadungeons. They are advertised as There's some of them that are they're written as Megadungeons. They are advertised using the word Megadungeon. I don't know how many, but it's a couple, I think, that through the years. So yeah. So some of them definitely are, but not all of them, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but Megadungeon was probably the ancestry of the adventure path. Those in some ways, because it was something that was supposed to be played over a long stretch of many sessions.
2 points here. Big Tilly says, and Big Tilly's Hops and Dragons with Paul. Paul was on Gavin a week and a half ago, so everyone knows. Are there factions? Temple of Elemental Evil had 4 factions in it, fighting against each other, all the different elemental factions, which is cool. So that's a great thing. And then Gary's right. Megadungeons can be a grind. Players don't grind for the most part. I have a huge exception to that grind, which I'm going to discuss. I'm hoping that someone hops on special. You never know. We'll see. And if that person doesn't, then we'll discuss it. But I want now Carlos and whoever knows about this, and Mike especially, both, to talk about our giveaway tonight. I want to know more about Mark Castle and Gary. And there we go. That's the big giveaway. Level 5 Hype Train, the Wayne Reynolds signed copy, and we'll give out 2 others, and we're also giving out one of Carlos's great modules as well. So 4 giveaways tonight, everyone.
Geez, which one is that going to be? There's none of them that's great.
What's that?
Mike, I'd like you go ahead. You have the floor. This is your baby. And I'm not going to step on your toes. I'll chime in when you give me something.
So what do we want to know about Mark Castle?
I want to know about it. What's the whole premise and the whole point?
Well, it's like most mega dungeons, I would say, or dungeons in general.
Cool, Uncle Fuzz.
A family of mages who are probably mad have created some dungeon levels outside there. It's not even beneath the castle, interestingly. It's outside of the castle. And it's starts out, for those who don't know, it was introduced in Mordenkainen's Fantastic Adventure, which is a kind of a throwback first edition module where you could potentially play Mordenkainen or Bigby. And you get to play, a few levels of that and contend with the person who's currently camped out on the place, Eli Tomarest. who's one of my favorite villains because he's like an adventurer who got there before you, and he is making forays into the mega dungeon because he wants everything that's in there, and then you come along and are now stealing his loot. So where third edition Eric come along, Paizo updated that in Dungeon 112.
Yes.
Mar Castle is the entire issue is dedicated to updating this module and adding a fourth floor to it, I believe. And it was
I think
like
what's cool about it, Mike, too, is the
Yeah.
addendum. Chiming in a bit here is
Yeah.
that they did tab Rob Kuntz to do it too,
right.
rather than
Yeah.
having some new writer like myself or somebody else just piggyback onto Rob's work. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
genuine article, so it's got the soul of the old one.
Holy
right.
grail
That's
of
the-
holy grail of interviews we have not had yet. Right? That is the holy grail. So
Yeah, so Mona didn't like just borrow Rob
Mm-hmm.
Kuntz's idea. He actually got him to collaborate on it, which really is important. And then there were further issues. So if I can see my notes, so then 12 issues later, they added another level, the Chamber of Antiquities. And then in Dungeon
124.
24, yeah.
Yeah.
And then in Dungeon 139, they added the Greater Halls. And then the magazines kind of crash and burned, as we all know. But Rob Kuntz still managed to put another level on that in Orth Journal 23, Warlock's Walk.
What number?
And 23. But going back to the original issue 112, it was hinted at that this Mar Castle dungeon, mega dungeon, had many levels. It could have been as big as Castle Greyhawk, we all know, because they just ran out of time to produce them. But each issue builds upon the lore and backstory of this Mar family. That the family's called Mar.
Yeah.
And it's an old Sewell family that dates back, can trace their lineage back to before the colorless fire.
So Rich loves it.
Yes, and so there's just little, really a lot of good lore Easter eggs throughout this stuff, and it's very high level play, I believe.
Yeah.
At least maybe not the first few levels you could probably survive, but it's not a dungeon where it's not like a by the book DM's Guide thing like level 1, level 2, level 3 equals equivalent level. No, you go in there and you don't know what is going to be thrown at you.
Yeah, Soul Evil, go figure. Yep, Troy. So any other comments?
Soul Evil.
Yeah. Any other comments on Mark Castle? It's too bad we don't have Eric Mona or Rob Kuntz himself on, but we don't. So
Well, we can pick their brain someday.
yes, but Eric will be definitely be back.
Well, you do have a writer that has done some stuff with a publisher that's done some stuff with Mauer Castle, though, and that would be me.
Yeah.
So everybody here knows that I have extremely high esteem for Mike. He's one of my best friends in the gaming world. I think very highly of you, Michael. When I found out that his favorite dungeon ever was Mauer Castle, I knew I had to do something with it because it's one of mine too. I love Mauer Castle. I kind of took everything that Rob had done, and I had decided if for those of you who, it's a little bit of a spoiler here, Eli Tomaras survives this whole craziness that happened in Mauer Castle, whether or not you kill him in Morton Kane's Fantastic Adventure or not. Well, in keeping with something that Michael said that was really salient to me was one of the cool things about Eli Tomaras is he gets there before you do. And so he has a chance to explore things. I used that in my own work when it came to this module here, which is called To the City of the Elder Gods, which you may recognize the guy that's bowing to one of the demons in the cover of that. What that is I introduce another member of the Mauer family who we've never heard of before.
It's awesome.
Proteus Ilmauer, who is a seer, who I've kind of attached to a kind of the Lovecraftian sort of weirdness that Rob Kuntz likes to use. I try to give that kind of Kuntzian air through this module, and it's a very, very dangerous, very deadly module in which you try to traverse to the true city of the Elder Gods.
Please note that's one of 2 adventures. If you win Carlos's giveaway, you can have.
If you'd like, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So, yep, tonight, which is awesome.
No, see, Glenn, that would be Kurzit, which you can't say 3
Kurzit.
times fast, apparently.
No.
Yeah, just depends on the sanitation. Carlos has got it down. Sanitize.
You have to. I mean, I often think when I'm writing
Tilly.
some of these modules that, some of the things that I love that I've created in gaming that are personal, I always try to remember how I would feel if somebody else came in and was, just started snatching all those things up. So it's important for me to respect Wizards IP. So I do my best to sanitize the work, for sure.
So here's something funny. I'm scrolling through this, and this is going to lead into Jason's big one of Jason's.
Uh-oh.
I look through here, and look, this is on page 29 of Mar Castle. Look what it's got in here. The Castles and Crusades Gary Gygax stuff. So the next big thing, Jason Castle Zagging. Let's talk about it.
Well,
do you got one there to show?
No, unfortunately.
Okay.
I had to sell mine, but I did start working it over. It's honestly, it's not my favorite thing. It isn't exactly Gygax. It's Gygax giving notes to Jeff Polanian.
Okay.
And Jeff did a wonderful job, but he only got a chance to fool around with scratching the literal surface, the first 3 levels.
Right.
And it does some stuff on the surrounding area, but it would have been a mega dungeon.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's a 3-level castle dungeon, and Jeff was a good pick for a feel for Gygax. He worked with Gygax, and you
know that name because he's Zweihander, right? He does Zweihander now.
No.
Which one does he do?
He does Astonishing Swords.
That's it. Hyperborea. Sorry.
Hyperborea.
My bad.
And,
I apologize.
If you haven't gotten that, like the first box set is absolutely beautiful. The man who did the artwork was great. The formatting was great. And the ideas that he did for a kind of pulp fantasy adventure game was wonderful. I liked the work that was done on the zagging stuff. Or not the Zag. What is it? It's zagging is but it isn't really what I was kind of looking for. And honestly, even Gygax's own Castle Greyhawk wasn't to my taste. I'm not a super happy fun slide kind of DM and Alice in Wonderland and these bizarre, there's a little glimpse into Castle Greyhawk if you read the Knight Errant stories. The very first Knight Errant, it describes a story where this wizard takes Gordon Church, Gygax's big heroes, and they go down into the already cleaned out 300 feet down into levels that have already been cleaned out of Castle Greyhawk, and then find that the wizard knows how to get into more. And they get into more, and it is a very surrealistic kind of dungeon with kind of intelligence tests and riddles, and honestly it wasn't to my taste. Out of the ones that I've read, I kind of like Joe Block's Dungeon of the Mad Archmage the best, and that is a dungeon. It's definitely not Gygax's dungeon, because Gary just absolutely loved, and I guess Rob did too. They loved the wacky and they would just throw things at you, and it was really wild. I mean, they ended up in China. They ended up, they ended up all over the place. They ended up in Alice in Wonderland. So the module you were showing of Greyhawk Castle is probably the closest I've seen to a lot of the ideas that Gygax and Rob were doing for the real one, for Gygax's home campaign, for the one that is the true and original Castle Greyhawk. But I honestly prefer Joe Block's.
Okay.
So, and I would have loved to have seen what Jeff Talanian had done with the help of Gygax in making Castle Zaggy.
Right.
But it's 3 levels. It's just the touch of it,
All right. Time to torture ourselves. I didn't say these are good, but are they Megadungeons or not? The Star Cairns.
No.
Okay.
I don't think they don't
no.
seem to have the
I'm asking.
gravitas.
There's 5 different
Yeah.
Star Cairns.
Jay, if you don't mind, just for a moment before
Sure.
we get onto that, I did
Please.
want to say one last thing about
Please
to
do.
piggyback on what Jason said. Just as a shout out to Joe Block, Joseph is doing some great stuff right now. He's got 2 new modules out for those of you guys who frequent his blog or are members of his Patreon, which I highly recommend. You can jump on. Plus, he's got 2 new entire books out for his Adventures Dark and Deep material that are amazing. So
Yeah, he's doing
definitely
some
go
fantastic
ahead and
work.
join the Patreon.
Absolutely.
Make sure you guys get his stuff. Support small publishers where you can, not just me.
And he should be at Gary Con.
He will be
Right.
at Gary Con.
He's a
Oh,
Gary
good.
Con.
Yeah, good.
He and I have spoken about that. He's intending on being at Gary Con. And you guys can buy his stuff there too in physical copy if you want to, because I know he's going to be a vendor too, I believe.
So all of us but Jason will be at Gary Con that are on here tonight, which is great.
So far, I still have plans to get a SEAL team to kidnap him and break. Sorry, I was supposed to say that out loud. Sorry, Jason. Right there from
all
the
right.
record.
Good to know.
Right there from the record.
Is this thing that can really make you just want to go postal on someone? Crypts of Lizardred the Mad.
Jeez.
I'm sorry. I'm asking. Is it a mega dungeon? This is close.
I don't get
Okay.
any of them have the. They might have the. square
Even with
footage.
this, I mean, this is a nightmare. All right. I'm asking the
Nah.
question.
Nah, I'm not feeling
I
it.
would never. Yeah, it's bad. So I mean, it's,
I think it's also part of being legendary enough to be called a
I
mega
agree.
dungeon. So yeah.
I'm making a point
More of
kinda on this.
Yeah.
Now, Jay,
Go ahead.
I'd like to point one thing out
Go for
here.
it.
Now, we're talking about some other people doing stuff. For the Carns and the Carn Hills, there is a mega dungeon writer. His name is Greg Gillespie.
Okay.
All right. He wrote the Barrowmace series. Wonderful for the Carn Hills. There's 2 books in it. They're not super thick, but they are. This is a mega dungeon.
Okay.
All right. And it is among some of the OSR people, not like the Greyhawk, but OSR. I think that one's just OSR. He did that one, then the second of Barrowmace. And if you want to drop it in the Carn Hills, it's wonderful. Perfect.
Okay.
And
Paul Moker
then,
says it's gigantic.
So in
Cool.
2017, this is a mega dungeon set in a
Where's-
lost city.
Okay.
It's the Forbidden Caverns of
Put it up a little bit more, Jason. Who can't?
Arakia. All right, let me get that up.
Arcadia.
And that, yeah, this is Greg Gillespie.
Okay.
All right.
All right. It's
Then,
OSR, right? It's old school.
Yeah, it's Labyrinth Lord OSR.
Okay, cool.
This is Labyrinth Lord OSR. I can't know, probably too much glare. This is called Highfell. He did this one in 2019. And so he's become a mega dungeon writer. Now we might not have heard a lot of them. Now I really like
haven't
this
heard it
one
either.
called Highfell because it is a floating dungeon.
That's interesting.
The whole top of a mountain has
Hey,
started to float off. So I really love this work that he's done right here, but I do try to follow a lot of mega dungeons.
Okay, very cool. Santa, you want to bring one up, or I can go to Carlos with his actual one that he hasn't even.
Yeah, go to
Carlos.
Yeah, yep. Go to
Go
Carlos.
Okay.
for it.
Yep.
I think I have
well,
that
I've
one.
got on my notes here of stuff to talk about.
Please
We've
do.
already discussed Temple of Elemental Evil, Night Below, Greyhawk Castle, and Mauer. So the big ones have gone, but there's one I did want to add that I think you can
Please.
consider a mega dungeon. Since we were talking about Rob Kuntz a little bit, I'd throw out Mazes of Zayn as a mega
I don't
dungeon
even have that one
possibility.
from Necromancer Games.
The
too.
4-part Maze of Zayn and Garden of the Plant Master isn't really attached to it, but I guess you could throw it in there if you wanted to. But those are very large modules connected through the Great Kingdom. I would throw those in there as a possibility of a mega dungeon as well.
They definitely because they're not just 4 modules; they're 4 interconnected and
Exactly, precisely. And
So-
and two, and in particular, number 2 of those is massive. So I don't know how many people have access to those because they were very
You can get them
limited
through
release, small
Frongod
publisher,
still.
but-
Some of them you can still get them.
yeah, but they're really
in PDF.
if you want to if
Double Knight.
you enjoy Rob's material, because Rob, I remember when I used to speak to Rob about publication and about dungeon design and things like that. He had a huge influence on me, but one of the things he always used to constantly tell me was it was important to him to do make sure that you're giving players material they've never seen before. It's the best way to get engagement is when your players are seeing something that they can't say, oh look, Green Dragon 9 to 11 hit dice, da 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 da. When you're seeing new material and strangeness and bizarreness, it's part of why Rob's aesthetic is the way it is he wants to make sure that you're seeing stuff that you don't it's custom. You've never seen it before. That's Maze of Zayn left, right, and center.
Yeah.
There's stuff in there that you're going to see. Look at that. Like, what in the hell is this? But it's great fodder for you as a DM. And even if you don't enjoy it as an adventure, I would really encourage idea mining the hell out of it, because there's so many, especially 4 conceptually has so many good ideas in it that you probably haven't seen before. I think it's really cool.
Carlos, do you like Dark Druids? Did you ever look at that?
I do like Dark Druids a lot. I think Dark Druids is a great module. In fact, if you, I don't know if you have his El Raja K.
I haven't gotten that yet. I know Alan Growy loves it.
Yeah, there's so much good. Well, Alan's a man of inimitable taste, but he does a lot of cool stuff in Dark Druids as well.
I'm incorporating that in. So I'm doing this Rangers of Arkwood. I'm incorporating Dark Druids into my gnarly Narwhal Headhunters campaign. It's perfect for it. So
cool.
yeah, absolutely. All right, so someone asked a question on one earlier, and I wanted to answer it. The original Ravenloft, is it? No.
I mean, it's a castle. It is a kind of castle, but it is definitely not, like the mega dungeon stuff that they're talking about. I don't know if I remember anything from Ravenloft that would have been a mega dungeon, in the separate Ravenloft, publications.
Yeah, good point. I don't think that was
Those
what they were
veer
about.
more into the story direction than the done.
But I love the original Ravenloft. I love it. I love how it was written. Ravenloft 2 is bizarre and extremely difficult to run, but Ravenloft was a great adventure. But yeah, the question came out there from the audience, and I wanted to answer it.
It's more like a pocket game setting or small game setting or something.
It was after Ravenloft 1 and Ravenloft 2. Then they turned
and then
it
they
into a game
expanding it on it afterwards, and it became bigger in later.
Absolutely.
Parts. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So thank you so very much for the follow. Mega Dungeons don't have railroad tracks. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right. Here is one of the greatest Mega Dungeons of all time. It's on my wall of fame, and it's not a TSR adventure. There we go. Dark Tower by Janelle Jackways. It is an unbelievable adventure. It is a super mega dungeon. If you want to spend 6 months gaming, here's your adventure. There's a lot of customization on it. You go 8 levels down before you go 8 levels back up, if that makes any sense. It is an awesome, awesome adventure. Has any of you ever looked at it here?
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Mentioned it
played that
before
when
that.
it first came out.
Yeah, it's cool though, right? It's got weird stuff in it, which qualifies for Mega Dungeon. There is a area where there's two doors that are sentient, arguing over a diamonds in the middle between the two doors. You're like, what the hell's this? Right? There's all sorts of weird stuff in there. It's a Mega Dungeon, but it's an awesome.
If it doesn't have the size, it has the heart of a Mega Dungeon.
Yeah, yeah.
And there is actually on Free RPG Day this year, one of the give outs was an expansion to 5e expansion to Dark Tower.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad Volmoku agrees. I love it. And if you've never run it, like I said, I got one shrink wrapped. I'm keeping it there. The copy I play with is a photocopy from Tim's. With my notes and stuff, I still have it. It's yeah. That's how long ago it was. I mean, it's a Mega Dungeon.
Jason, were you a fan of Dark Tower?
Not only Dark Tower, I realized a little later after I'd been playing a lot of Judges Guild that almost everything I liked was Jacques.
Yeah.
The reason I asked you is because of some of the silliness in it that I thought it might bother your aesthetic a little bit. Because I know that
I had more of a problem with Caverns of Thracia than I had with Dark Tower.
Thracia's long too, but that's not a Mega Dungeon. Yeah.
Okay.
No. Well, but it's that Thracia again could be a Mega Dungeon. You know, it's got that kind of sense that you could expand it. But no, I love Dark Tower, but I was awfully young when I started playing it, and some of my criticisms might have been not fully developed at the time.
So, Thracia is the perfect replacement for the Passages of Solarton. If you want to do that, you can do that in that area, or an alternate discussion on that, because it's really you're going.
You don't want to do
depths.
that though until Anna and I actually create that module.
That's on my list of. That was the first on my list of potential. If you're going to do a Mega Dungeon in Greyhawk, what you're going to do.
Well, Anna and I always talk about collaborating. That's the one I always thought you and I would do.
Yeah. So yeah, the Slow Tunnel complex I think will be an awesome themed Greyhawk Mega Dungeon.
It would be, and it would be great. And multiple adventures, multiple books there, Carlos, for that.
Yeah, meaning what they moved in there in 1,500 years, something like
that. That's absolutely what I need is about 1,500 more pages of module.
Yeah.
So Pat, Canadian Gamer brought up another third-party one, and here are the three originals. All right, and that's Rapanathak, and that's the Mega Dungeon from Necromancer Games. Here's the three from it.
And that's what Maze of Zane, but Maze of Zane. It's 4, but that's what it's kind of like. It's a Mega Dungeon just split up.
Look, Orcus.
So, yep.
Yeah.
That's big number 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and now they come in a compilation leather bound. It's worth anything that Necromancer Games Frog God puts out. Those compilation books are worth a ton of money. But that's a good one there, Patrick. Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge Mega Dungeon. You can fit that anywhere in Greyhawk. I wonder where I sure put that in. If Dale's on, if you see Dale, you've run it for over 2 years. Still only. So you're about a third of the way into it, Michael. Wow, yeah, it's huge. Yeah. It is, it's a Mega Dungeon.
Of course, with Rapanathak, there's a. It would start out as a small book, and now it's a gigantic one. Like they're all. Frog God likes big telephone-sized books, called Bard's Gate, and it makes a wonderful city to return to, and they both fit very nicely into. Greyhawk, either as a bandit kingdom and something in the Rift, or really where you figure out to place it. But it's a very nice Mega Dungeon, and works pretty well. So I've really always liked Rapanathak, and to go with it, D1, it's their D1, Frog God Games. It's what is it?
I got one more. I got one more from Frog God, from Necromancer, a big one. So we got a whole bunch of new people who weren't on the first hour, courtesy of Mike Bridges and Carlos Slicing the giveaways. Carlos is giving away either C14 or C16. That's one of the 4. Mike, because we had a level 5 hype train, we're giving away 2 copies of Mar Castle, okay, and the grand prize is the signed Wayne Reynolds copy of Mar Castle. Okay.
Bling bling.
Alrighty, for tonight. So there you go. So just let everyone know that. I know we have a whole bunch of new people on, and thank you over 100. Thank you so very much. All right, someone else bring up one. We got a lot left. A lot left.
Is it how? Can I be self-promotional for a second?
Please, let's do it because we haven't talked about your Sanguine yet.
Okay, so one of the I noticed I mentioned earlier in the broadcast that I used to get a lot of requests for a mega dungeon, and there's so few of them in there, and the ones that in Greyhawk that are published, and the ones that were really the most compelling, I didn't want to touch because for either reasons I didn't feel like I was entitled to do something for Castle Greyhawk, or I didn't feel it was compelling. I kind of wanted to cut my own ground. There's a reference in I Use the Evil, that module, which is that source book. It's called The Dungeon of Bleeding Walls.
Oh, okay, good.
In the middle of the Rovers of the Barrens.
Yep.
And I took the Dungeon of Bleeding Walls concept and I turned it into this module right over here, which you guys will have a chance to.
Second one opportunity to get that.
You guys, this is one of the things you guys could possibly choose as your prize if you win the drawing tonight. This is called Sanguine Labyrinth right over here.
Oh,
and it is the Dungeon of Bleeding Walls sanitized so as to avoid IP conflict or respect IP, as it were. It's an ancient elven burial site. I have linked it to the very beginnings of Oerth. The second of that is the first 3 levels of it, including the background, and the second 3 levels of it, levels 6 through or 4 through 6, are called the Root of All Evil, which would be this bad boy right here.
That's the one Kayla's got the monster in, right?
No, Kayla's got the monster in
okay.
Queen's Lament.
Oh, Queen's Lament, which I got coming on the way.
Queen's Lament, which is coming your way right now. Even though that module is like only 6 months old, I think I've written 3 since then. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You're keeping busy, man.
At the loss of much sanity points, but yeah, those that's the first 6 levels of it, and the next 3 levels and the final 3 levels are going to be released here in the upcoming. I'm not exactly sure when and the production schedule they'll fit in, but that's my mega dungeon that I'm doing for Castle Entertainment, which you guys can get at castlentertainment.com, or you can win the first 3 of them right here and tell me how much they suck.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to have to worry about that.
It's actually that through playtesting at convention, I revealed that one at Gamehole a few years ago, and it actually was probably the best received of my modules in playtesting so far. So people seem to really like it.
Awesome.
Hey, so yeah, thanks guys. I see some people out there who've already bought it, so thanks guys.
And why is it a mega dungeon again? How deep?
Well, because it's 9 levels of a dungeon, pretty much vertically arranged straight down. It's your old school dungeon.
9 levels. That's awesome.
9 levels. I believe that there's at least 60 encounters in both of them. Nice. Encounter areas. So it sprawls horizontally as well as vertically. There's a lot of even though it kind of cuts against my grain to do so, I dispense with some ecological notions in it that bothers me as an engineer, although in Root of All Evil I pay a lot of attention to ecology, as you'll find out. But hopefully you guys will really enjoy it, and if you guys do, let me know, and if you guys don't, let me know that too, because I don't, you get better that way.
Gargamund, we talk about TE early on. Yeah, that's a mega dungeon in my opinion. Some say it's not, but yeah. So, but 9 level. Yeah, did he select? Did you select 9 levels for Hell on purpose?
I went 9 levels for a couple reasons. Number one, 9 is really important to me as a personally speaking, because it was my hockey number growing up, and everything is about 9 to me. It's always cool. I've associated myself with that number for forever. But I wore that all the way up through college. But also, the 9 worlds of Norse mythology is numerologically, it's important to me as well. But yes, the fact that there is 9 levels to Hell also, there's no coincidence there. Works out a lot of levels. If you'll pardon.
Awesome. So I have a couple left still. We haven't talked about intentionally.
Detail.
Yeah, well, we haven't talked
We
about the main
left
one.
Greyhawk for a while, and then we think.
Well, we're
Carlos will be
gonna
back
do another
again.
one. So this is an awesome adventure. If you haven't run it, you should. And I placed this in Greyhawk real easily. I've talked about this on other. The Tomb of Abthor. It's probably the best.
That's the one I was talking about.
It is awesome. I recommend it games. I know a lot of you out there have run it. I know Mike Saxton ran it. I know Greg has run it. A bunch of people have run this one. It is a wonderful adventure. And the Temple of the Frog is in here too, which is the notation of Safaga, which fits, really fits in a cool thing. You can make it Lagazid very easily. There's a lot of things you can do with it. As you can see, the one thing about in the old days, they had print extra, and it's hard to get them. I don't think they're down now, but I imagine that if I asked Pex from Frog God, we could get all the additional printouts that they made. And all these adventures had extra printouts, which is a really cool thing. So
now that one can link up with Rappin' Athic.
Yeah.
It's which makes it even more
Thanks, Patrick.
Of what the Mega Dungeon.
Oh my God. Patrick just hit 900 gift subs all time. Insanity, Patrick. Thank you. And Patrick, I got all those books today finally, so
That would be like the Mega Dungeon of sub gift.
yeah, I'd say so. The community here is so wonderful, and thank you for getting that level 5 hype chain right off the bat, so that we were able to give the Wayne Reynolds out tonight, which is awesome. A really cool thing, and thanks for the support for everyone. Note, all of your Greyhawk streamers are in one. Carlos, Anna, Blue Box are all in one place now. The Twitch team, Greyhawk Creatives. Click that, bookmark it. You can always just go right there, and you can see who's on. All of them, including some great crafters like Christine Van Patten, Mike Disney. They're all right there. So, cool, Mike. All right, so let's talk about the.
Well, would you?
That's my son saying hi. He's all excited now, because he got on the BattleTech stream. So
let me jump in with one thing here,
Please.
though, because I've got the biggest Mega Dungeon I've ever heard of. I'm working on it.
Okay.
And first you need the plans of the Death Star, because it's a sequel to, and it's my version of the Warden, and it's a sequel to Barrier Peaks. And what it does is there's a connection between the City of the Gods, Barrier Peaks, the Mage of the Vow, Basiliv, Now, to get here, you've got to climb into a giant frog. At least that's what happened with my players, is they found a giant frog in a statue while they were battling the giants in Geoff, and it took them to Selene. The only thing is, Selene is the Warden. Selene is a abandoned spaceship, or a half-ruined spaceship.
Oh,
and
okay. The moon.
And the characters are trying to find their way. But originally, as the adventure starts, they don't know they're on a spaceship. They just know they're underground. And that's just so I can get them to get to the surface and, just say, that's no moon. Because when they get to the surface,
no moon.
They're finally going to be able to look down and see the earth above them. So in the campaign I've been working on, Selene is really the Warden, and it's been there for millennia. And first it lands its Scout, which crashes with the S3 module. And then it lands their colonizing module, which is City of the Gods. And that's off in the land of black ice. And then finally, as the people start leaving, one of them becomes the character we know as the Val of the Mage, or Gygax's Basiliv the Demiurge. And since I'm not working about publishing, I just write what I like. So Basiliv is Robert Culp. If you've ever seen The Outer Limit, the demon with the glass hand. So the mage is a complex android. And these people have never experienced magic before they came here. And so they all received almost godlike powers. And including their humanoid AI and android. And so this is thousands of years later. And the very first people that they met, the very first person was Igvil. Now, I know that's very
Uh-oh.
seen as
Yeah.
overdone by poor Gary, but that is the start of one of the things with my Blackmoor Land of a Thousand Witches campaign. So the characters know none of this. They're just normal earthly adventurers, and they end up investigating what looks like a statue of a frog, but is really a transportation device to a society of bullywugs who are living in the center, in one small sliver of Selene, which is moon size. And they've got to fight their way through various things and eventually try to find a way off of the moon. And even that they're on the moon at all. But that is going to be, that's been a mega adventure I've started running, and something hopefully to get enough down so people can have some fun with it.
Bullywugs, you say?
That's right. We are doing our,
Oh, that's
I have a
awesome.
fondness for bullywugs.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yes. No mentioning Igwolf. Someone was arguing on Reddit. I saw. I don't.
Yeah.
Igwolf and Dark. You saw that. I was like, oh, I'm staying away. I'm not even engaging in that discussion. Oh,
yeah. It's just I'll engage in it another time.
Yeah. All right. So, Anna, you've been quiet this whole one.
Yeah,
just absorbing.
Oh yeah, I'm absorbing. This is fun, but I want to before we wrap up, so to speak, and before we get
Still
into
got two big ones left.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Good.
Because I want to put meaning. Are there Megadungeons in Greyhawk that hasn't got a module yet? We talked about one, Slerodin's Tunnel, but
Yeah.
I think there's a bunch of others that are Megadungeons in the making, so to speak. They are there, but they haven't been written in module yet. And on Slerodin was number one on my list. Yeah, but there is number 2 and 3 on my list are in the Howling Hills.
Okay.
One of my absolute favorite locations in the whole of Greyhawk. As I need to set a campaign. The problem is that in my sandboxy thing is so damn deadly that will be a high level campaign. I need to bring them up to 15th level to survive. And my top of the list is
there's a Soul Husk adventure though in Dungeon.
Yes. Oh yeah, but it's not a mega dungeon. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
It was small.
Yeah. I'm not talking a regular module. I'm talking a book, so to speak. Yeah,
awesome.
Mega Soul Husk caverns are top of my list, but only by this much, so to speak, because Drenghus is the the one that might even be when actually the shadow dragon that I named Rishnal in my campaign, she now resides up there. There is a shadow dragon there I use the evil, and I just took one from my campaign and said she moved up there, so to speak. So she's an ancient shadow dragon, and that's just one of many cool things that lives in these 2 locations, and I think that will be. Or you can call them the Howling Dungeons or something, and then put them, because they're so close that they can even have a connection. So you can just make them into one mega dungeon, so to speak. That will be really, really big, and call them the Howling Dungeons or something, or the pits of Ayus or whatever you want to call them. But I think they have really potential. They have humanoids, demons, all sorts of fiends, dragons, and weird old stuff, so to speak, and things that are hidden away and things that shouldn't be there, and all that, so to speak. So I think it will be cool to have a mega dungeon that has most of the trappings of a classic mega dungeon, but still will be very tied into the setting. That will be a type of mega dungeon that I would like. Yeah.
To throw onto what Anna's saying, 2 people in the chat have just mentioned, I'd like to give particular shout outs to mega dungeons that are out there that haven't seen publication yet. You know, I participated for a little bit in one of Gary Holian's play tests for Spine Castle. And just the taste of that I got for a couple of weeks was just,
it's a city.
Just shows how amazing that's going to be if Gary ever deigns to release that, ever has the time to do it. Oh no, I'm not. Believe me, I'm not one of those people that's going to lean on him to finish that, because I know how much goes into it.
He's getting leaned on in chat now, Carlos.
We should lean on him.
Gary, you finish it when you finish it.
Or lean on him.
The other thing is, Gitano has, Grendelwolf over there has also done a lot
Yeah.
that I have seen with Tomb of Horrors.
Yep.
And that thing has been expanded to Mega Dungeon size in a way that you guys, I don't think many people have seen just how immense he's made that and how
Yep.
cool it looks. So real high praise for both those creators. And those guys have a lot. If those products, when you guys actually do see those products, believe me, they're going to be worth your white.
Now, I'd like to say in Spine Castle, not only is there's a city, but there's the haunted Spine Castle Keep. And that in itself, that even outside of this monstrously infested city, that is a mega dungeon in itself, from the height of the towers down beneath the earth where the orcs came up and slaughtered the defenders. Now, luckily, or unluckily for Gary, I am exactly the type to lean on him. So, I've been fooling around with Gary's Spine Castle in what he seems to approve of, but I've been having great fun with that setting. It's just incredible. And it is partially published, a little taste of it in Dungeon 148. So you can get a sampling of Gary's Spine Castle.
So this is going great, this discussion today. I'm sorry, I'm multitasking, and of course my brain just shut off. So I got the 5 animated emotes. Everyone's having fun with them, which is fantastic. So thank you for that follow. Here we go. The ultimate, right? This is the first, right? Well, this is the biggest, you could say, in the world.
It's the biggest.
Yes.
The debate will never end on which one is the best.
We're gonna go to this next, right? Yeah, Eric.
Yeah.
I was hoping Eric maybe would hop on tonight, but there you go. Greyhawk Ruins. It's so immensely huge. It's like, for you to run this as just a regular adventure. Hey, Mandy, if you were to run this, you're going to torture yourself. It is, Carlos. You ever delved at all into this? Couple levels here and there, or I've
actually run a lot of it before. They TPK'd out in the middle. Party I was running through it in the way that most parties do through there, but I do remember them having a decent time with it.
Cool.
Although, to tell you the truth, we were talking about unpublished work. You guys need to play in a couple of Alan Growe's run-throughs of his Castle Greyhawk, because I'm here to tell you that thing stands up way better than that module you just held up does. Way better. His game is, his version of Castle Greyhawk is absolutely amazing.
So
that's another shout out for
GD's
unpublished.
Running it now. He's running the original. Wow.
He sure is. He sure is.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and if you guys want to get with him at GaryCon, I know he's going to be there. He'll probably be running Castle Greyhawk. So if you guys want to check out what I'm talking about, that's a game you want to be in. Ignore my postings. Go right for that one, for sure.
Well, Armin, you can always just change him out somehow, and Armin's having trouble in Return to Temple of Mental Evil, but I didn't warn anyone. Now, there's the Greyhawk Ruins. Eric Mona, James Jacobs, Jason Bullman. I've given this praise multiple times. I love how they synopsize it, and you can get nice bits and pieces and tidbits of that. Look at that. I mean, it's insanity. So
I played it to pieces. I did run the entirety of it.
We'll tackle that. We'll tackle that in a second. Absolutely great question. So if you can get a hold of this in reprint or whatever, take a look at it. The storyline is good. The plot line is great. I think I love the whole thing behind it. It's the last publication that really came out for Greyhawk. And I incorporated it, and I finished it right before we went live streaming 3.5 years ago, unfortunately, so you never saw any of it. I incorporated some first level stuff in with it, and it worked great, and they got a great feel of this. Without having to run all of this, they went to some really key points, and that's why I like it so much. So I consider them both mega dungeons. So,
it's definitely a mega dungeon for sure.
Yeah.
And for the setting, it gives you a good synopsis of City of Greyhawk. You even got a little picture of the green dragon in.
Oh yeah, it gives you some nice area. It adds actually some areas that I realized are Maldens. They took, because Maldens, and by the way, Malden will be on hopefully in January, and we're going to do Malden's Greyhawk City L&L or Gavin, whichever one he can make it to, where we go over all these great locations he created. So, we're working on that too. So, isn't that the Vampire Throttle book? Yes, Big Mac. That's hence why. Oh, is that you and Scott Casper, that one?
Yeah, I used to do a webcomic about Casper.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
the joke
Fantastic.
one though, the joke one, right? The
No,
joke. Oh no,
No.
the real one. Oh, okay.
it was
It wasn't
like very
WG7.
old school.
Well, I thought it was comedy. It was a comical. All right, it was a comical
It had
take.
some
Yeah.
humorous moments.
Yes,
it was
it
like
had
50% in the city, 50%
Okay.
in the dungeon.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah.
Here's Gary Hooling's rhetorical question. Everyone, let's tackle this. Is Isle of Dread an outdoor mega dungeon?
No,
No.
Slam down, Gary.
No.
There you go. So the answer to that is no, Gary, according to Grail Mike.
you gotta have you just gotta have a location. It can't be a big sprawling. No.
It's a setting, but it doesn't have that there's all this area around it, but there's no central location that's going to be your big expedition.
I think Von Molku nailed it. It's a sandbox, and
Yeah,
and Megadungeons are
right.
two different styles of gaming, and yeah. And I think Isle of Dread is more like a sandbox. You go around between different things, and you can pick them as you move around. So to speak. Megadungeon, you go from room to room basically, or it's more stilted in the execution of it. You can't roam freely in it.
Yeah.
I agree, Gary. That's a good one too. That'd be a great one to write up.
Let me mention just one place. I thought they were going to mention it.
Damn, Gary stole one of mine on my list.
That is the Sea of Dust and the City Out of Mind is the setting. Now, the City Out of the Mind is kind of, it's a living setting because they're still living in there, the Pygmy Soul survivors from Gary's Sea of Death novel. But one of the things he mentions is as Gord is crossing over through the desert underground to the City Out of Mind, the capital of the Soul Imperium, they pass this deep, deep chamber, and there's mention that down below there is a hidden city developed by the survivors, but even before the destruction, like some emergency bunker deep down. But it has become something that they never would have recognized. And then Gary goes on. He drops this little thing that this completely fantastical, unsuspecting, horrific city down there, but I'm not going to talk about it. And I'm going to go move on. And so that is a mega dungeon of unknown proportions. And above it is the fractured remnants of the Pygmy Souls, who are the survivors of the reign of colorless fire, mutated by the very ashes of their burnt homeland. And that is just the setting. And the mega dungeon is this 1 or 2 lines that Gygax dropped about this incredibly mysterious and horrific city buried deep beneath the ground. And it's up to somebody else to fill that in. And what it could be, it's just up to your imaginations. But that is a little hint of a mega dungeon dropped there by Gygax for some future generation to look at.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Aquaria. That's it, Big Mac. It's Mentor's Aquaria. There you go. So, all right. So, did any of you have any that you want to bring out? I know Gary talked about some really good ones here. Places in Greyhawk that really, the City of Summer Star, absolutely, in the Adri Forest.
That was
The Citadel Veralis.
Should those ruins up in Blackmoor have something?
Might be, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple of first. I have one that I want to test to see, you guys, if a dungeon, mega dungeon, can technically be on the outside and still be called a mega dungeon. And secondly, I want to have one speculative, so to speak, one that if you want to
Okay.
create something out of thin air in Greyhawk that still has a little bit of touch with the setting. So let's start with what could be outdoor. And I'm thinking of Veralos, the old Flan stronghold on the edge of Rift Canyon. What if that was the old Flan's connection down into the rift to go and get the resources and stuff? And they built an extensive set of stairs and ways to get down into the rift. Deep down into the rift. So it will technically be a mega dungeon where if you have a feather fall, you can go down and start from the bottom. You can just fall down and then have to climb your way up again or something. But you can kind of make that difficult with darkness, and there can be all sorts of weird pocket planes. So God knows what can be down there. But the thing will be caved in along the wall down, so to speak, several miles down. So you can have, that was just my idea of twisting it, so to speak. So instead of you go down, but on the outside, so you can have aerial monsters attacking you and all sorts of stuff. So you can kind of tweak it into that's kind of really stretching the mega dungeon concept probably too far. And the other one I wanted to what if you bring in ancient history into it, and you bring a place that is only hinted at? It might never be a place, but you can make it into a place. And I'm thinking of, we talk about the Urflan, and I always wondered, where did they got the Ur from? And I always assumed that, I'm assuming now that the term Urflan comes from the ad&d that first encountered them and wrote down the stories. And one strategic location that the ad&d took hold of that is the perfect is the where they built the city Rossies, meaning that the most strategic location in the eastern Flannies, because it's where the river gets navigable and it's in the middle of the sea, so you control things and you have access to the sea and the north and everywhere. That strategic location was there long before the ad&d came. What if there was a city, or a Flan city called there, that was actually first ransacked by Vecna and when he ruled and his crazy rule and turned bad, and then it was, after that, it was laid in waiting, so to speak, and then the ad&d came and realized this is the perfect spot to build our main city. And what if those dungeons and those below from the old Urflan and those cults and all the wickedness that was around there, that the early ad&d actually encountered it, and they sealed it in, and it's still there. And now you have a ruined, if you play Living Greyhawk and after the war, now you have a ruined Rossies with a hidden mega dungeon under it from an even older epoch, so to speak. And that is something, if you take one sliver of history, play with it and add into it, you can create cool stuff that can be tied to the setting and the theme of the setting without too much info to go by, so to speak.
Very cool. So go ahead, Carlos. Rich got you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's already been said. So.
Cauldron of Night.
Yeah, Cauldron Night. Yes, exactly. I think it ties into the Great Kingdom theme, meaning Great Kingdom should be able to produce 3 or 4 mega dungeons. It was an empire. They had a lot of resources to build things.
And anything like Spiral or
yeah.
Places like Delvin Brass or things like that could all be places like that. But I think Mike hit a good one with Blackmore. I'm being commissioned. A spoiler alert, I guess. I'm currently being commissioned right now to write a module for a convention that is up in Minnesota that is going to be revolving around some of Dave Arneson's work. So I've been doing a lot of Blackmorian research lately.
Sure.
So I'll be placing something up there, but you can do something very easily around making the Greyhawk version of say
Hitch up again.
Some of the city of all of a sudden I'm drawing a blank. the mechanical cities that are up there, or the
City of the Gods, yeah.
City of the Gods. Thank you. Some of the lost lands up there. A lot of places up there are very ripe for, I think, mining mega dungeon areas.
Yeah.
So and also, I think a cool mega dungeon could be set on the in the Dromage Sea up there for the Baclunish with the pinnacles of Azoralk. I think that you could do something neat with that, like the burial site of the 1001 Paladins of Al Akbar would be really cool.
Yeah.
So.
And one other thing that Greyhawk or the Greyhawk setting lacks is one big dwarven mega dungeon. They love to build big cities.
I have a lot of small ones in my adventures.
But I think we have a couple of candidates though. There is 2 up in the Yacht Hills that were invented, I think, in the Card Sergeant or early that era after the in maybe early Living Greyhawk and stuff. And one of them is there are 2 clans, Kund and Blackhammer, that are in the Yacht Hills that I think could be locations that could be both ancient and vast, and also kind of bit forgotten out of the general view, so to speak. They could have maybe a demonic invasion that wiped them out, something, and no one heard of them for years, and you have to be the one going there to investigate what the heck happened to the clan Blackhammers, that no one heard about it. Or there might be a new terrible monster that comes in the Worm's Tail Pass. A few hapless travelers that are going across the pass get attacked by something nasty coming, or lots of something nasty, and someone has to figure out where they come from, and they are the one that took over the Blackhammer clan's old dwarven holds or something. Meaning
that's great. Yeah.
There's some potential there, so to speak. You can tweak it, and you can use what little information is there to build something that could be cool.
Here's the overall point of this entire discussion. There is plenty of room for any of you out there, or any of us, to write up small dungeons, mega dungeons, and create and add to the lore.
Yep.
That's the whole. Carlos is doing his part with 26, 27 adventures. I try and do my part with streams, and everyone else does their part on Cannon Fire or Earth Journal, or whatever you do. It's every little bit contribution helps the community. So don't think you have to do a mega dungeon. You can do just even write up some NPCs. Come up with some magic items, Greyhawk based. You don't have to go crazy, but you can if you want to. That's
I think it's important to remember. I mean, when I first did my very first module for Castle Entertainment, it was a convention module that was probably about 20 pages long. It wasn't anything tremendous. It wasn't anything great. It was just something that was meant to entertain some of my friends and stuff like that. I'm doing 100-page modules now, but it didn't start out that way. It doesn't have to be this epic, sprawling thing.
Yeah.
So
I can't say that because I can't give advice in this because I was dumb enough to start with the biggest thing. So I can't give advice on that. So don't do what I did, so to speak. Start small. Yeah.
Always started in little bits and pieces, and we had this. Some similar discussions, but there's stuff that you can do. Yeah. There's a lot of projects going out there. And once again, I'm going to link this one more time. If you have not gotten this, get this. And that is the postcards are done. There it is. There's the link. The postcards for every location in the Flannis is done. Wonderful, put together by all the authors, by Rich Longitalis, by Oranir, who compiled it all. It's beautiful looking. Mm-hmm. It's free. Yep. Take it. And then if you want to know about a location, it's there. And like I said, even if you want to know about the evil city of Altamira that Gary and Rich are talking about, it's in there too. So, they're busting my stones in chat, So, yeah, so they're evil kumquats. So, the ice
curious ones.
Really, yep. So there's a lot to do out there. There's a lot of fun things you can do. There's a lot of great mega dungeons. I think we discussed most of them in Greyhawk. I can't think of any we really missed, but there are some wonderful possibilities that have not even been touched. Yeah, Andy, I'm just an evil SOB, for the most part there. Visit the Banded Kingdoms and die. So that's right there, Casey. So closing out this discussion, because I know our shout-outs are going to take a while tonight. So closing out discussion, anyone want to put in a little more, some final tidbits there? Please do.
Well, I'd like to say, don't forget to push the boundaries. Don't forget to go to Hepmanoland. Don't forget to go to the Medio, the
Far
Backlunish, which
shore.
are almost never touched. Don't
Scuttle
go
Clove.
further. I mean, Gygax talked about lands west and south of the Sea of Dust. Think about the mountains that separate the Backlunish from the Sea of Dust. They are empty of the original life. There's no all the dwarves that lived there, all the elves in that area were wiped out, but we don't know why. What's left of their societies, what's left of the dwarven and mountain societies in the Gradsul Mountains there? Like for myself down in Hepmanoland, I have a several thousand-year-old UNT city stolen from ideas by A. Merritt, but like the face in the abyss. And deep down is the survivors of a age before the age of elves. And it's all over anywhere you look. So you can find it by digging up something in a field, and it can lead down into a mega dungeon, or you can push the boundaries and have a frozen mega dungeon in the land of black ice. You can have that anywhere. It's an open page. It's an open piece of paper for you to start putting things down on the map. And so, wherever you want to do it, wherever you want to take it from, whether you want to create it yourself, it's there to happen. And the Flyness and the earth are big enough to encompass it.
Great points. Carlos, I know you're going to shout out that tonight. I'm hopeful because I know you did something in your Patreon. Yes. So everywhere is off. The Fireland's off limits. You'll see this shortly. So anyone else with any other? Yeah, but you've done Herculean work on it, so it can be. Any other final comments on this mega dungeon discussion? And I think we really we hit a lot of great points.
If I were going to throw out one thing, I would say that remember, if you guys are looking for places to put mega dungeons and things like that, if you're interested in locations where you're thinking to yourself, man, a lot of these places have been claimed that are really cool. Anna kind of hinted around it, but I'll make it explicit. Go to Ivid the Undying, go to the Marklands, go to
Vespi Forest.
The Evil, and look at. There are so many adventure seeds in those books, those three references. It'll make your head spin. I chose one of them for Sanguine Labyrinth. There's a million other ones you could choose. So
you don't need much. You just need a sentence.
I will shout him out for something that he just created that's off of the Slavers book. Right? I mean, right? Oh, yeah. So, we'll show. Yeah, absolutely. Because I
forgot about that.
Yeah. So there's some wonderful, wonderful stuff. There's plenty of room, and you can even throw. Hey, you don't like Altamira? Get rid of it and put your own city there. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to offend me. You know what I mean? If you want to get rid of Mountains Melcott and put something there, go ahead. It's your Greyhawk. You can do whatever you want with your own campaign, and that's the great thing. So. Oh, see, Obsidian. We Mike shot that down. Olive Dread is not a mega dungeon. No. Yeah, not a mega dungeon at all. There, no dinosaurs in Ket, Rich. Sorry, not happening. Not happening. That's too painful. All right. So, what a great discussion. Now, I want please everyone. I don't know Laura as well, but love listening. So, Acid, just know this: you don't need to just absorb little bits. It's like eating an elephant, little bits at a time, right? Just and you want some really cool stuff. There's Cannon Fire's Discord. I bet you this one's wrong. My Virtual GrowlCon one for cons and other updates. That Discord thing is probably wrong. But get in the Cannon Fire, I'll find you and then I'll invite you into the Virtual GrowlCon one too. So, no, we got plenty of stuff going. And there's also Greyhawk Online, but you got to go to their website to get into their Discord. There's no shout out for it. So, all right. What's going on in the world of everyone here? We're going to do, after we do this, we'll do the giveaways, the 4 giveaways. Then we're going to raid. Stella's doing her Patreon. Is there Patreon Salt Marsh tonight? She's doing something. She's doing a Greyhawk game tonight. So we're going to raid into Stella. Plus, I get to hang out with Stella on Friday night at PAX Unplug. I'll talk about that in a second. Mike, what's up?
Well, it was fun talking Mega Dungeons with everyone. Just like whoever gets the signed Wayne Reynolds copy of Mark Castle got that signed at Gen Con.
Whoops.
Just thought I'd let you all know.
That was me.
I
did
can't remember
that.
what year it was, but it was probably the year after it was published. So he didn't sign it. I was just going to point that out. So he didn't sign specifically for the show or anything like that. It's an old signature. Otherwise, not much else going on. I might be Mega Dungeons. I might be getting involved in a Undermountain game.
Oh,
coming year.
one Jason's used
Yeah,
before.
because when I play with my friends and someone else's DMs, we do Forgotten Realms, unfortunately.
I got them all set up. Very, very cool. And like I said, Mike, if you all want great information, and you go to Mike's blog and pull out a year. It's like I did. That's how we got the. Like I said, that's how we got the topic tonight. I was like, "Ooh, this is nice," and that's how we have the topic for next week too. So note that it came. And once again, Mike, thank you for donating these. This will be awesome to get them out to community. When I met Wayne Reynolds at Gen Con 2019, and he told me that all his artwork for Slavers was destroyed, original, I almost died inside because I was like, I wanted to buy that Marquesa and her consort picture. I wanted it. I didn't care how much it was going to cost. I wanted that. Right, Carl? That's such a great. I wanted the original on that, and it was gone.
We would have had to do the West Side Story, tie the bandanas on our wrists, and knife fight over that.
Yes, so many of great.
And I'm a really good knife fighter.
Yes, and I'm not. I'm not. As Tim will tell you, I get my.
I'll go left-handed for you, though. Make it fair.
Yeah, what a shame, but Wayne's got some great stuff. So I know you get the prints of it, Joe, and you sent them to me. But and it's awesome. But what the original? The original is something else.
I know.
Love to have. So.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. So, Jason, what's going on, man?
Well, the biggest thing is I've been doing reading and commentary on the Gord the Rogue novels by Gary Gygax. And we started a while ago, and we just finished book 4, Knight Errant to the Night, just before coming on. So that puts us past halfway. There's and sadly in this way, there's 3 more Gary Gygax books to do. We'll probably finish them up sometime in February, which is good because our recording device will probably stop working off of Discord in March. So I'd like to finish them up because Craig is not going to be maintained anymore. We use Craig.
Yeah. Oh, does it cost money?
No, he's sick of doing it.
Oh, okay.
and he's just not going to do it anymore. So he's given us saying that it's probably going to shut down in April. But, we'll find something. But anyway, with these recordings, they're on Cannon Fire, the website. And there's about 130 or 40 hours worth so far.
See?
There it is. There it is. I got it. I knew I had a shout out for it.
Great. All right. And there's a lot of stuff planned to do with it, but you can right now go there, listen to it, or download it. And there's a lot there, but it's the story and the commentary. We have a great time doing it, and we do find out some interesting stuff.
You find out locations that Anna doesn't have on the map. You found, right? You found some of those. You found a lot of great stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and there's lots of lore and information. We found out when Gord was born. That's awesome. Lots of little things there. So we found out the colors of Gygax wanted for the Greyhawk flag, the uniforms of the army, the uniforms of the praetors, the number of oligarchs that Gygax wanted. This is all from the Gord the Rogue books, and that is Gygax's most Greyhawky kind of material that he released on his own. So it's really, even the stories that seem very silly, they can be filled with information. And some of the stories are just fun, if not some of the books, like Sea of Death is a fun book. there's always a few surprises there. But so next week we'll be going on to the new book, which is a retelling of the first stories. It's called City of Hawks. It's got a very crude sketch map of the city of Greyhawk, which is about, I don't know, 6-8 times the size of the one in the box set. So it's been a lot of fun. And hopefully people can enjoy listening to it and participate if they want, either by text or either writing in the text channel or speaking in the voice channel. And from there on in, it's just going to be mostly working on it as a research project to pull out all the information and put it in a digestible format. But that's what we accomplished today, was book 4.
Awesome.
And we do on Friday the only story with Gordon Gygax that wasn't in the books. It's from Dragon 100.
Oh, cool.
So
yeah, that hardcover white with purple dragon, whatever that was cover. That was really cool.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some story in there called, I'm trying to remember, At Midnight Black Cat Comes, something like that.
Very cool. Thank you, Jason. We'll go to Anna next. What's going on, Anna?
Okay, well, yeah, it's really a lot happening behind the scenes, and it's usually when you don't hear that much or see much or much posted, whatever. Then I usually work really hard, and right now it's the final real hard push to get the new map version out, so to speak. So the extended terrain with Hebmona and stuff is about 90% done. So there's one like 30 hours or something like that, 30-40 hours of editing to get it finalized. So that's one of the things I'm going to do in the next 10 days or so. And the other one is to go through I have 300 something posts in my map to-do list for this edition. So I'm going to go through all that in the meantime, because my hand gets cramped if I sit and work in Photoshop for more than a couple hours. So what I do is that I dip into that and start seeing what changes, and because there's some research and I have to reach out to someone who knows some things better than me and stuff. So I might poke on you guys and out the forums and whatnot, Discord and so on, some questions and here and there. So I hope that in the next 2 weeks I will have it. So I will try and because my streaming, I want to move to the Twitch platform, because Jay had made that as such an interesting home. So I might do some test runs now and then, unannounced or maybe shortly announced, just to see if it works and get the set things up when I need to have a distraction, so to speak. But it will mainly be working hard. For my patrons, there will be first a post coming out very, very soon, a day or so, where I have the first sample maps of what I think that the new Atlas format will be. And there will also be, I will also start getting my patrons' input on the other formats, so to speak. We will keep the traditional Flannies map I've done now. That will be like one Hebmona land map, and then we'll see what other formats and stuff we can do on the big map, meaning how to splice and dice the thing once it's done, so to speak. And so those are 2 big things. And Dwayne Costa have gracefully announced that he will help me update the index and stuff, but we might need some help on the index too. We'll see. So I might reach out to patrons and on forums if someone wants to spend some hours poring over these things in a few weeks, when like 3 weeks or so, when I have them done. So that is so I hope that I can push out at least a preliminary full version of it before Christmas to my patrons and stuff, and to everybody. Like so there will be probably within a week there will be a first very preliminary version for my patrons, and then it will be hopefully by Christmas we will have a first public kind of beta version, so to speak, that people can start hassling me and say, oh, that's a typo there, and there's something missing here, and why the hell did you add that thing or remove that and stuff like that. That is the final quality control that is needed. And then when we have that in place, then early January is time to split things up and start working on the individual atlases pages and stuff. But a lot of that work needs to start in December, and then so it can be rolled out and finalized. I've started to realize it's a major undertaking to publish a new version of the map with hundreds of changes, new edition, added 50% of the terrain. This is a big thing. So I have to say sorry to everyone if I'm if I'm a little bit hidden away and don't keep posting that much. It's because I'm working rather than posting, so we can get this beast out of the door around the turn of the new year, so to speak.
Another thing Anna's doing is creating the new banner for Greyhawk Creatives for our stream team. So
we
it's in
had the first
preliminary. Yeah,
I have some ideas on
Yeah.
how to improve it too. So
Yeah.
so that's coming too.
That's
So,
coming too. So just
Yeah,
note
and-
that's a placeholder banner.
Yeah, and with the more heraldry is coming too, that's one of my little side things when I get too distracted with the main thing. And thanks to Gary Julian, and we went down the rabbit hole of stuff, there is updated more heraldry coming and updated on that too. So we'll see, but my goal is to have that out by the Christmas too, that some of the new kind of Great Kingdom
Awesome.
heraldry and some other cool. I have a couple of cult heraldry from my campaign and stuff that is coming. I have some Dragotha cult and Kiraptis and heraldry
Nice.
from that too for my campaign that is coming.
Awesome.
So that is coming too, and there will be a write up with maps and stuff of Bogford, the Dragonhide caves and stuff like that is coming too, but that will come, the majority of that part will come after the big map has come out, so to speak. And then there will be the overhaul of my Patreon and stuff in January when the big map is updated. So right now it's just getting all the work done to get that beast published, and then we can move on with a whole bunch of stuff for next year.
Anna, awesome. Thank you. And I will talk about the Our Fantasy Mapping Show in my shout outs
Yep,
here with
mhm.
what's coming
Yep,
up. So
we have that too. Yep.
Carlos.
I have absolutely no idea where to begin with all this. But
How about
I'm
here?
going to try because I have a lot. I have a lot to unpack. So forgive me if this turns into a filibuster.
How about this?
So let's. I'm gonna begin with what Amanda. Hey, thanks so much, Eat I appreciate it. This is what Amanda posted the other day up on Facebook as a. This is what the
There we
newest
go.
module that we're
I got it on-
prelimming here. It's just called Thicker Than Water.
I got it up in a
As
massive
you can
big
see, the
pic.
character that is on the cover of Thicker Than Water.
Yes.
That is
Oh,
our
it looks so
girl,
cool.
Slippery Ketta from the Slave Lords. So you can put that, what our back cover art, I suppose, might as well throw that up on there too, back cover art. But that gives you a little bit of an idea what we're looking at here for this module. I really enjoy doing the Slave Lord stuff because there's so much lore to pull from and from so many different sources. And it seems to resonate really well with the audience, so I really enjoyed those. But that was, I think I finished Thicker Than Water like 7 or 8 months ago. Here's some of the other stuff I did. I was commissioned by GrogCon to do a module. There was a contest to name it, and Alan Growy won the contest. It was called the Witch Queen's. It was called the Witch Queen's Lament. He decided. So he actually Peace Measure. He named it, and he's the one who made me invoke Igwilliv, not myself. But this is the cover for the Witch Queen's Lament, right? And you'll notice a few figures on there, plus a chicken-legged hut in the background, right? Well, my background is heavily in Russian poetry and folklore, and something that always used to bug me was in Canon Greyhawk, we hear all the time about Baba Yaga's 2 daughters. We hear about Natasha the Dark, obviously, we've made Igwilliv, and we hear about Elena the Fair, who transliterates sort of to Vasilisa the Fair from Russian folklore. But there's a story out there called Baba Yaga and the Brave Youth, in which she is quoted as having 3 daughters.
Yes.
And I've always kind of
That's
wondered what happened about the 3rd daughter. It always kind of bugged me as a creator. This was an opportunity for me to write about the 3rd daughter. So the character that you will see over there on the right is Anya the Plain, who's the 3rd daughter of Igwilliv, and who is the crux of this entire story. I'm really pleased with this module, the way it turned out. There's cartography in it from any award-winning cartographer Glenn Seal that you guys all, I'm sure you'll enjoy. And then there's the newest module that we've just written, which is my most recent one. This one's called The Heart of Winter. Cover artist Amy Neri
I don't have that one.
on this one.
That's
Yeah,
brand
she's
new.
done a really, really nice job. This module was commissioned as well from me. I seem to be getting commissioned a lot from different conventions to do their official modules, which is a chance for me to really promote Greyhawk out there to the gaming world at large. So I really enjoyed being able to do that. But that was for a module, a convention called Ice and Dice. Now, Ice and Dice just postponed their. Unfortunately, they postponed their convention. So this one isn't going to be played in the wild out there until 2023. However, it's going to be for sale and purchase from our site over there. This one comes from the whole idea of this was given to me by a fan, a patron, and somebody who I really admire. His name is JC Luxton. Some of you guys might know him from the community. He does a lot of great work with Celine, and he loves Elvish culture in Greyhawk. And he said, hey, I have an idea in which you can maybe tie into Sanguine Labyrinth. And I was all ears. This is independent from Sanguine Labyrinth, but I think you guys will really like it. There's interior. This is one of the modules, because we've been doing well enough, I can afford to do so now. There's interior artwork in this one, and that one is done by Brian W. Parker, who's a great artist, another guy I admire a lot. And as I said, the cover by Amy Neri is just Amy Nagy is just awesome. I really love that. But I think probably what more people will be interested in, rather than hearing my modules, is the word went out through Patreon the other day that I'm slightly changing the model about how I'm going to be doing things going forward. We're going to be taking a short break from module production in order for us to reevaluate what the audience wants, what the crowd wants, what my workload can support. Because frankly, I've been doing 2 modules. I've been doing a module every other month, 100-page module every other month, plus a mini module, plus bonus encounters, plus multiple character sheets, plus a new spell of the month, monster of the month, and magic item of the month for my Patreon subscribers for the last 4 years. And I'm not. It's a lot, so I'm trying to get a little bit of that workload off of me, so that I can devote it to Fireland. A lot of you guys know that I've been doing a mega source book for Fireland while I'm taking this little break, and while we're reconfiguring the Patreon to support Fireland directly. In other words, that's where all my effort's going to be going, and it's going to be done.
That's awesome.
And I'm real excited about that. I'm very excited to tell you guys about that, and hopefully you'll be able to see I'm not putting a timetable on it because this particular project has been on my desk for a long time, and I want to make sure it's absolutely right. Plus, I'm going to end up waiting on artists and things like that. So it's going to be done when it's going to be done, but you guys through the Patreon and through other avenues are going to be able to get sneak peeks and things like that of the progress. And I this is the project. This is what I've been working on my whole life, I guess. So it's got to be right for me. And when it's done, it's done. And I just want to make you guys out there proud. They're Greyhawk enthusiasts and supporters of my work. And I just want you guys to make this a product you guys can be proud of. So hopefully you guys dig it. And yeah, that's what's going on in my world right now, Jay. Nothing much. Oh, by the way, lastly, Patreon's also got the sneak peek of the stuff I'm going to be running officially at GaryCon. I'm not going to break the news of that here because I still want them to have a chance to speak to me back about it. But I will be running material at GaryCon that you'll have a chance to sign up for. So, and if you guys miss out on slots, you guys can always contact me on the down low. I always am running pickup games and stuff like that. So
yeah, because not everyone has a platinum badge like Carlos and me.
Yeah, and the only reason I have a platinum is I was gifted it by a fan. I'd be silver like the rest of the rabble.
I'm going in style the first time ever, Carlos. So there you go.
Yeah, not me.
Come on, Rich. I'm just having fun with it.
I'm going in style, but really, to be honest with you, the only reason I'm doing that is because I needed the money. I had the money earmarked to hire SEAL Team 9 to come and kidnap Jason so we could take him back.
That's well said.
Well, I needed
We're gonna
I
have
needed
fun.
4 or 5. Knowing Jason used to be a bouncer, I hired 4 or 5 extra guys just in case. You know, he kills the first 3 or 4 of them when they get in through the door. So
I'm having fun, Rich. The pressure's off. The stupid check mark I got after 3.5 years, I'm enjoying it now. I'm good. Yes, please. So I wanted to say this about this. I already ordered these 2 modules brand new. I ordered them the minute they came out. I know that the hard copies are being shipped, but these are the PDFs. This adventure here, Thicker Than Water, I am running in my Harvey campaign in 2022 live stream. Okay, and it's going to be it'll be suited to my campaign like it would be, but it's going to be this adventure. I can't wait to run this for everyone. I'm really excited about this. So
I'm super excited to hear how it goes for you and your group, man. I got to tell you, there is nothing that makes you feel better as a publisher or as an enthusiast when you know that other people are running your stuff.
Your pic just went out.
Did it really?
Yeah,
there
you go. You're good.
Oh, sorry about that, guys.
So note that
nothing makes you feel better than knowing that people are getting use out of the modules and are having fun with them. So.
Oh, I cannot wait! Cannot wait for it. There's the Greyhawk Creatives stream team. Carlos and Anna are both members of it. Play at Blue Box, Praetor's Rejects, Moonlight Minis, Mike Disney. We got a whole crew, Powerland Adventures. So please check that out and bookmark that. All right, here we go. My quick shout outs here. Tomorrow night we continue the Narwhal Headhunters and Rangers of Arkwood. Really cool adventure. This is the biggest giveaway that I have. Well, I don't know what the value of this Wayne Reynolds signature is, but every quarter, Miniature Building Authority gives away a $75 and a $25 gift certificate to their store once a quarter. That is tomorrow. All right. So just please note that the big NBA giveaway is tomorrow night. We continue this. We got some really great terrain up for this. Turns out they found out at the end of the adventure, all these Rangers are now werewolves. Woohoo! So, yes. Yep. So, and this is a part in the Gnarly. I adapted this for a section of Gnarly outside of Oakvane. Really, it's a neat little small adventure by Creation's Edge Games, which I love their stuff, and I was able to modify this. You know, it's good to have these kind of adventures sometimes where you just need to just make some modifications. That is tomorrow night. I will be at PAX Unplugged. Friday, I'm running Horror in the Holes Part 1. Okay, whoops. Oh my God, I almost crashed the stream hitting that. Hard Holes Part 1 Friday, Hard Holes Part 2 Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. And Tickwitis is assisting me, Alex, with that, which would be awesome. Friday night, I am hosting a private party for a lot of the streamers that are coming into town, a lot of people that are a part of the community. If you're around, let me know. It's at one of the cool old pubs right off South Street in Philly. It's going to be a fun time. We'll have, if you're in the area. What bar? Kavanaugh's Head House, which used to be the Dark Horse, which used to be the Dickens Inn. So there you go. Yep, and that's where we'll be. So stream-wise, Sunday, PAX Unplugged, back to in-person conventions. I'm going to have a lot of pictures. I'm going to have a lot of discussion, just like I did over 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago that I did my first PAX Unplugged, which was in 2018. But this one, we're going to take a lot of pictures. We're going to talk about some things I've seen there, some cool people we met, and just discuss it for Gavin on Sunday night. That'll be a fun one. All right, and that is Sunday. Next week's Legends and Lore. Another Mike Bridges one. Greyhawk rules, additions, and play styles. Mike had a post, which was simple. And here, I'm going to link this piece real quick.
Remember this.
You don't, but I do. So here you go, Mike.
This is just what I need right now.
Yes. Yeah. What game systems do you use in their own Greyhawk campaigns? The results are like, all right, so we're going to have a nice discussion on this.
Having an
edition wars. Great.
It's not going to be a war. It's not going to be a war at all. Because there's stuff that's not even on here. Pathfinder 2's not on here. Castles and Crusades not on here. There's a lot of stuff that's not on here. We want to hear. It's going to be. I don't think it'll be an edition war discussion at all. I think it'll be a play style edition discussion.
I think it's every DM and game group need to find the one that works best for them.
Exactly.
And their games.
Exactly, Gary. We don't care about editions, but we're going to talk about the play styles everyone uses, which leads into editions.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're, that's.
And I might need some input because I'm thinking about which one to move to, so to speak. In
And I'm going to ask for other
or
people
stick
to
with
join
5e. We'll see.
Anna, Mike, and me on this one. I'm going to reach out to the community and ask some people for their input. So I probably want a Castles and Crusades person, Rob fan. If you're around tonight, this would be a good time for you to come on. I may want a Pathfinder or a Living Greyhawk era person to come on. We want to talk this up. So I'm going to see if Will's available for 5e. Because Will's going back and forth. We'll talk about we'll talk about that as we go, and then some other things. The next week is massive. I have 5 streams. Let's go to this Friday, the 17th. The Publisher's Perspective Fantasy Mapping Show, Alyssa Faden, Anna Meyer, myself. We have Zach from Frog God Games and Stephen Chenault from Troller Games coming on. They're going to talk about what they look for in map making, VTTs, all sorts of things. This is also going to be a holiday extravaganza giveaway because we're forcing the sponsors of the show to give it up. So look for at least a dozen giveaways that night. At least it'll be to celebrate the holiday season, and that'll be Friday 8 p.m. That's our monthly show, and that'll be fun. And then the last thing really scheduled out are my next Saturday night special, The Dead Never Rest Easy. This will be adventure number 936. The Mandy, Little Bones, MJ Russell will be new to the group, Myriad X, and Josh Pop Zarathon himself as we continue the Slav Squads. I can actually say that now, almost. Adventure. They've done one, and we'll continue with them. I got a nice little place Anna's put on my map, Happy Springs in the county of Ulick. A nice little halfling community, Carlos.
Yeah. I love that little halfling community.
Yes, but look at the name of the adventure.
Perfect. What could go wrong? It's in the happy place, right?
So
Happy
it'll be a fun
Springs.
one-shotter, and it'll be Strategy and Wiz Dice giveaway there as well. Always fun stuff.
Smiley
And then we'll
signs.
worry about the Christmas holiday next week. I probably won't be streaming that much. I'll be doing, work, doing stuff with my son, my family, and all. But yeah, Elmshire is a mega dungeon. I've used Elmshire multiple times there, Gary. I mean, the mongrels of the Putrid Tongue have gone through Elmshire multiple times. So
Is the resident with us?
All right, are you all ready? The first drawing person will more than likely, unless you don't, you got your choice. You got the signed copy, Wayne Reynolds signed copy. This is the big one. You also have Carlos's 2 options of modules and hard copy. He'll send them to you. And then we got 2 other ones of Dungeon 112. All right, 4 giveaways
I think I might
tonight.
enter this.
Listen, we have a ton of people. We have a ton of people on tonight. I want to say thank you. My life is so much easier now that I don't have to worry about this getting rejected. It's finally, it just makes things so much easier. And I want to say thank you, everyone, for the support. Without your support, we wouldn't have ever gotten there. Now we have to build up some of the other streams and keep it going. From my end, we all have a lot of work to do out there with whatever you're doing. Carlos writing modules, Anna with her maps, blogs, little cannon fire, whatever. Just do your little part, and the community will keep growing, and that's the great thing about it. So here we go. I'm going to close it out. 5 seconds. I'm closing it out, and then we're going to see who's going to win this. I'll bet you $1 million that Casey wins this one. How much? You guys want to take me up on that?
No.
Oh, thank you.
The 1 and the 5.
My money's on somebody like
Rich. Lunge of
no,
Talents.
I'm saying GDTRFB
Someone new.
1995.
He just
Someone
won,
new.
though. He just won, and recently. So I can't hear.
So he's out. Is he
No,
out?
no. He's not out, but he just
Then in
won
that case, I
literally
still pick
another.
him. I'm still picking him.
Here we
It's just
go.
a spoken.
Here we go. Here we go. I'm closing it out. The giveaway is closed. The winner is Dorgrim.
Oh,
real
nice.
Dorgrim.
Yeah.
Dorgrim. Let's see. Make sure he's on to claim this or whatever he wants. Dorgrim, do you want?
Yay!
Dorgrim, nicely done, buddy.
Dorgrim, do you want this? Do you want the Wayne Reynolds sign, or do you want one of Carlos's modules? Your call. You
I
tell
won't
me,
be
Dorgrim.
insulted. Wayne Reynolds definitely trumps me.
Yes, but maybe he'll want one of your adventures, though, Carlos.
That's
I mean,
true. Who knows?
So
You
Dorgrim,
know.
you gotta let me know
I
because
won't be insulted though, brother.
yeah, Dorgrim, something from Carlos.
Hey!
See, there you go.
All right.
There you go.
Original,
Awesome.
Original content.
Awesome. He
Yeah,
said you can
bro.
choose, Carlos. So that
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, let's
So
see. C14 and C16, huh?
I would, yeah, they're both cool, man. The
Oh,
Mega
well,
Dungeon
I can't
C14.
choose. I'll surprise you.
There you go.
Maybe
All
it'll
right,
be both.
so Dorgrim, I probably have it, but just get me your. I know you have it, but give me your address again. I'll forward it to Carlos so he can
Yeah,
send
absolutely.
it. Okay.
And thank you so much, Dorgrim. That's
All right, the next three,
Yeah,
I got
what?
your addresses. You got to get them to me. Here you go. Whoops, I just wait a minute. I just hit something.
You hit something. in
Yeah,
there.
I just hit something.
Yeah.
I just. You got to be kidding me.
Oh,
I just. All right, everyone, re-sign up. I can't believe I just did that. It closed out. I closed it out.
I was doing one.
Closed it out. Start up again. Hit the drawings
You can't
again.
even blame
I
your
don't believe I
cat for it.
freaking
Come
did
on.
that.
Yep.
My
Oh,
bad.
wow.
Keep on going. That was a mistake. I hit the wrong button. I told you I was gonna hit a wrong button. I keep go.
Yep.
Everyone, I'll give you all
Yep,
a
there you
minute or
go.
two. So I hope to see everyone there. If you're around, I will be in the great library, the Alexandria Library at PAX. I think it's room 108. A is the sign-up room for open free play. B is the library. I'll be in there. My banner will be on the wall. Just note where I'll be. So there you go. So last call. Sign up, please.
Yeah.
My apologies. And this helps for the no lurkers, right? So
Right.
yeah, you know. Yeah. So
You know, last time I was on a streaming chat, that's what the chat room actually looked like. It was going.
Yeah, 108 there. 108B, Antiquitous, table 8.
Yep.
So just to let you know, and they know that I need to be near a wall and stuff. So all right, are we ready? Keep on going. Another 30 seconds. 30 seconds. My apologies there. Dumbass me. You'll be there in spirit, Tino. That's cool.
I love it.
You got to spell it right, Mimorph. I think you're in, Mimorph. I think it got you. Let me check, because I can check now. Yeah, you're in, Mimorph. I got you. You're in. All right. 10 seconds. Anyone else?
I still think you're going to win, GD.
Rich, do you know how I did? I'm going to be honest with you. You know what I did? I contacted Luke Gygax directly, and I asked him, can I get one? He said, sure. There you go. That was it. So sometimes you got to go right to the horse's mouth. So did I actually hang up on Luke as well? No, I haven't. But I still won't live down the day that I changed the mouth acid arrow, even though I was correct on it. That I shot him down for using mouth acid arrow because he tried doing it for 300 feet.
Yeah,
no.
that's funny. That's funny.
All right, here we go. I'm closing him out this time. Are we ready?
Did that really happen?
Yep.
Yeah, it did.
Really, it's
Oh
on
my
video.
God.
You can go to YouTube and
Greyhawk
watch
Con.
it.
Last year's Greyhawk
Yeah.
Con, he
Yep.
tried casting mouth. It's only like 30-foot
Yeah.
range, and I
And
extended my
Jay
game to
didn't
60.
blink. He just shot him down
Yeah.
immediately. You can't do that.
Yeah, there, Casey got back in.
Oh,
Luke
Casey.
cast
I
the
shut it out by
spell,
myself,
and
yeah.
Jay just
Holy
that
moly.
was
No,
awesome.
I mean you can't go out 300 feet with a mouth acid arrow.
The
He used
spell
those
is
words and
named
just told
after
him.
the man. Let him
All right.
do what he wants to.
Oh,
Nope.
Oh man,
Jay just that was it.
I'll never
Oh,
let that.
that's awesome.
Yep, I was in the game, so the Jay like, no, you can't do that. That
Well,
was his words.
Mike
Alan,
was in the
what was
game.
the
Mike,
look
you
on
were in the
his
game
face?
too.
What
What's
was
that?
the look on his face?
Well, you know.
He just that was funny. That was awesome. I think it's one of the best things that
Enoch
happened.
Pratt, Tim, Enoch Pratt, you won the Wayne
The
Reynolds.
Lurker.
Well deserved.
Yep.
Well deserved. Now let me
Yep.
go to the other
Well
two.
done, Matt.
The other two dungeon. I'm not going to close it out this time. Hopefully not. Next winner for the Old Times Tavern. Wow, awesome, man. Old Times Tavern. Is Old Times Tavern Sparky or is that different? All right, Old Times Tavern Sparky. That's it. I thought it was you. All right, gotcha. And then last winner, Laura Kalan. Laura Kalan. You won as well. All right. I think I have Laura Kalan. I may have your email, your address too. Make sure I have everyone's address. I know I have Enoch's. I know I have Sparky's. Laura Kalan, just make
Yes.
sure I have your address. We're going to raid into Stella, who's playing a Greyhawk game right now.
Wait, time out. Who actually got the Wayne Reynolds one?
Yeah.
Enoch Pratt.
Enoch.
Enoch Pratt. Tim, yeah. A hardcore supporter of the Greyhawk community. Perfect.
Well done,
Perfect.
Ina.
So thank you all. Thank you for a massive crowd tonight. We'll see you tomorrow night. Remember, huge $75 and $25 gift certificate tomorrow night. Miniature Building Authority. Come hang out. I won't close this. I won't close it out on you by accident this time, or something else. So we'll see you. Carlos, thank you.
Oh,
Jason,
no problem, man.
thank you. Mike, thank you.
My
Anna,
pleasure,
thank
as
you.
always.
What a great one
Thank
tonight.
you.
Let's
Thank you, everyone. Yep.
keep everything rolling. Keep Greyhawk going, and whatever you play, don't worry. Editions don't matter. Just enjoy yourselves and have fun with it. And we'll see you tomorrow night. I'm gonna hit the wrong button again. I know it. Thank you. Thank you, Rich. All right. Setting up the raid. We're gonna raid into Stella. Okay. Let's get over 100 tonight. Hang in there, say hello.
Thank you, Casey. Yep. Thank you, everyone. Yep.
I have 2 days of work left in the year, by the way. I'm off. I work Monday, Tuesday next week, and that's it. So, all right, 82. I'm good with that. 83. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow night. Get that. Make sure that went.
Yeah.
All right, shutting this off.